at the green screen.
Welcome, guys, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about on the Afternoon Rundown. We got Neil and Sean. They're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you during the midday show. So make sure to join Adair and I on How to Trade and get your vote in the chat. 481 is where we're at on the triple Qs, essentially looking to retrace back into that 20,000 point level on the NQ September contract. It's been very undecided the day. We were above 20,000 to start off the day, then broke down during the midday, trying to retrace back now, as you can see that. But that is not what everybody is here for. Everybody's here for this one. TSLA reporting after the bell today, slated to be at around 410, and many questions unanswered with this one, whether or not they're going to be producing the Model 2 anytime soon, whether Optimus will be a down the road thing or more of a near future 2026, 2027, as well as the robo-taxi. The launch of that got kicked down the road from August to October. So lots of questions to be answered, I guess, on the call, guys. Tesla, though, taking it on the chin today as people sell, awaiting for earnings.
Yo, welcome back, everybody.
Definitely on the chin today, Tesla.
Really excited. To have, it should be a great after show. We'll have Brian Shannon come through. We'll talk all about Tesla getting going. And Tesla's been a big banger as it continues to flush down. And we tweeted this out when we took it off VWAP right there. So we started the long today, right? We started the long at 248. We wound up actually red or slightly red or maybe flat on Tesla after taking some longs, then it dropping through 248. Then we picked the bottom up here at 246, but got stopped out of part of it. But then back upside, nice trade, shorted against VWAP right here, and that's what we're doing right now. We should have got our last piece out. We're still holding a small piece. We should have got it out down here at 246, but for right now, Tesla, and we talk about this, look at the weaker names heading back to VWAP. That's the trade. I don't even need to this is what I'm talking about. I need to get Michael Noss on the phone immediately. These are the kind of trades that I'm liking to do, and we do have some VWAP scanners. So that's what we're doing with Trader TV. Make sure you do get that sponsored Trader TV 20 for trade ideas, but back up there into that level. I like it. Look, with coming into earnings, I think Tesla's chart is fine heading into earnings. If you guys want me to predict where earnings are going to go, I mean, that's going to be, stay tuned for that. But no, I think, we're in the middle right now. I think it would be a crapshoot. What I said earlier today is I feel like there's enough going to be in this report for both sides. I mean, what are they going to talk about with India, right? How's sales looking there? What's production looking like? Is there going to be a worry on a guide for China? Possibly. We've seen Chinese economy sort of hitting the skids there. And now it's so bad over there on the stock market that they've had to temper short sellers, right? So does that going to affect the numbers that we hear from Tesla coming out of China? And then you do have the bullish case where, hey, they still are making money. Let's check out what their margins are at. They just increased some of the pricing of, I think it was one of the Plaid editions there went up $2 or $3 grand the other day. So there has to be some strength there. Plus, possible nice talk, potentially, as Elon Musk sort of paves the way for that robo-taxi discussion. So I look at it and say, hey, look, we have 290 coming in hot. That's probably going to be touched either in the aftermarket on an algo spike. So that would make me nervous. If we broke 290, I mean, you're basically taking out years high. This was made back a year ago today, right? This is their report last year right here. And look what happened. Bang to the downside. So a year ago this quarter, they were at highs and this happened. So you have to be careful that something may come through for Tesla tonight that does send them back in. So we'll have to watch out for that. But either way, I feel like it's in an island right now, and it's going to be a really exciting report. You checked earlier, Neil, and it was, what was it, 8%?
8.5, 8.6, 8.7. It's between 8.5, 8.7%. So call it, what is that, like 225 to the downside. I mean, that would take you right back to the top of the previous down channel. That's actually pretty good. I'll probably like that. If you get down there, maybe a bounce off of 225, 220, and then upside, what does that work out to? So 9% there, like, I don't know, like 69. So actually right up at the local resistance up here at 270. So that's actually pretty clean for Tesla. You already said VWAP. If we get VWAP again, I think that's the afternoon trade. But the other side of that coin is that 256 from yesterday ends up holding. So I think, that's where the shorts have had to cover and where any of the buying has made some sense at $246 there on Tesla going into the afternoon. So good levels on Tesla. If we see VWAP again before the close, I think it's worth a shot. I don't know if I love it at VWAP at like 345, 350. I feel like on earnings, if Tesla's pressing right at the end of the day, I'm more than willing. I would get out of its way if it starts to make that last 15-minute press to the upside. But until then, it's a short. Maybe someone knows something, or maybe it just had an impressive rally and you're seeing some profit taking.
The bleeding has stopped, at least for the moment, on Crowdstrike. 20% over the last 2 days, was lost a little bit more than that today, up about 3 1/3. Still multiple unanswered questions. How much are they going to owe in compensation to some of their users, as well as many other questions about future customer acquisitions. But Truist giving them the nod today, maintaining their buy rating on Crowdstrike, but lowering the price target to 325. Kind of similar look here for Baird, maintaining their outperform and also lowering their price target to 335. This was at $400 a few days ago, guys. Any look on Crowd?
I didn't trade. You had one in.
The SSR bounce today on Crowdstrike was like, it was better than yesterday, but not for me. So yesterday, like, it had multiple shots at it. Okay, so just a thing about this chart here, the open on Crowdstrike is this is 930. It's just missing a bit of volume data. Probably have to close the chart and reopen it. But this is when it opened up. There was bounces initially off 75 for a good scalp trade. That was $3-4. Then there was nothing till a tiny trade off of 70, and then a good one off of 65 where you got the good rally. Today, all it did the run of the low. I had it underneath 60. It did the wick underneath 60, and then old man hands wasn't fast enough on the way back in. I say that kiddingly of myself, but it's actually true. And then I elected not to chase it, and you could have chased it to 61. Certainly taking the 61 long and then just giving it a tighter stop to 60 would have been perfectly reasonable given how big the upside was. It was 63 at VWAP, so you're talking about $2 there. And then once it broke VWAP, you're talking about another 6 until it gets to that drop-off zone at the open. So Crowdstrike, good recovery. I'll be semi-happy for myself in the long term because I picked some up yesterday in the middle of the show. I'm not completely certain that the downside is done. You could always break down and then see maybe this 240 level here on the daily chart. But for now, good day for Crowdstrike. I think the thing about that trade, it's a rubber band style trade. So you got to be willing when it reclaims a level and you see the buyer step up on the tape, you just got to be willing to join it because the upside is explosive. And we've talked about this with names that are down 10% or more for a reason, because you have that explosive upside. 275 looks like some resistance. If it holds a higher low, maybe a little more recovery going into tomorrow, that could be a play. Certainly a relatively strong stock as the market is dead flat and Crowdstrike trying to catch a bottom. I'm always more confident when something like this holds the bottom for a couple of days and then makes a higher low. Tomorrow we'll be looking, well, I'm actually at my follow-up with my surgeon, but tomorrow I'd be looking for that higher low to hold. That would be the look for me.
Okay. Are you not in tomorrow or?
No, it's my follow-up.
You're in the morning or the afternoon or what?
It's literally right in the middle of the day. There's pretty much no
yeah, that's fine.
Hopefully I get a new cast because this one's starting to itch.
Yeah, after a certain while, don't they replace them or?
Well, the post one, I'm not going to show it to you guys, but like the post surgery cast, it's like a soft one. It's not all the way around. It's like, it's not very well fitted. Obviously, it's meant to catch. I saw
Kevin O'Leary, by the way. He put up his video of him getting surgery here in I think Humber Valley River. There, so yeah,
it's a great healthcare system. When
you and Kevin O'Leary are the most two famous people ever to get operated on in Canada.
I don't know about all that.
You mean you didn't live stream your operation? Oh man!
All right, it was over way too fast, and I was out of it.
Yeah, look, I didn't trade Crowdstrike today, and I just wanted to say that we did buy it out. We talked about this yesterday. We bought it, during the midday or during the opening show yesterday at 265. I just think that at some point it's going to be oversold. Nice little bounce today. If you're long from yesterday and you're just a swing trade, I mean, taking 4% isn't that bad. Especially if you're long from the bottom here of 260 up into here around 275, 280, then you don't have to worry about asking questions, come their next earnings report. So let's just wait to see. I could see them guiding a little bit lower if they did lose any contracts, but I still think it's worth it. I'm very, very light in this name. I just started the position yesterday, so I really like CRWD. And I just think today, again, this is why I'm trying to, we talk about Real Trading being our #1 sponsor. I've talked about how I've changed up my trading style. If you are looking at Crowd today, there's a lot of money to be made on Crowdstrike because it based out down here. Okay, not only does it come right into your level, as Neil was just mentioning, but it only goes $1.15 against that level, right? And so that $1.15, and again, this is where we look at these things for reasons, right? It's a $260 name. You know, so there's no way, and you know what, that you're going to be able to call a $1 or $2 area. So I feel like it was good, but pretty risky, needless to say. You had to absorb all this to get this. So, yeah, I mean, I would never want to catch a falling knife, but I just think that it was a little lucky that it did come into 260, which gave you, like, if you just withheld it for $1.50, and again, everything is hindsight, but it just gave you $13 within the next 15 minutes. So again, there's going to be lots of examples like this as we go through these trades. And by the way, I was really, really close to adding to Google, and I actually forgot about it. GOOGL right here, starting to go here into the afternoon. This is, sorry, I have trade ideas in behind me. I was trying to find out when Crowdstrike's earnings were. I'll check those out in a minute. But there goes Google heading into their report. I've already said it. I think they're one of the best setups here into a report. So I really like Google here. I think they're going to take out 52-week highs up to 191 and get going through there. So let's see. Talking my own book, though, Google is a big holding as well. And then Tesla's making its way back up. So we're pretty light. We only have about that 10% on this name left, maybe even less. We're looking to get averaged in if it comes up to VWAP. So in case that does hit, before we get to Tesla, which of course is not on the list.
Before we go back, we got to wait a full month.
Yeah, it's a long time.
August 28th for Crowdstrike, which in some ways, if you're looking for the bounce long, might be a decent thing because it allows it to get some recovery maybe for a full month before you actually have the earnings. And I don't necessarily think, I think it would be a couple of quarters out before we see most of the effects, so they might be immune for a little bit here. But yeah, a full month for Crowdstrike, plenty of time for it to make a temporary bounce.
The SPY about flat right now, up 0.15. The NQ essentially 0.15 to the downside, and the Dow basically in the green as well. It really is the Russell that is doing a lot better today. The IWM, the Russell, whatever you're looking at, up about 1 1/5 last I checked. This one, though, a bit flat. You zigged and zagged a little bit after we got the 2-year note auction at 1 o'clock. We'll keep an eye today after market when Tesla and Google both report how the futures look. But right now, guys, bit of a flat day.
I can talk about this because, yeah, we put up some big time numbers. Again, it'll be P&L number, well, it'll be number 3 because Palantir is going to be number 2 for me. And NVIDIA's number 1. NVIDIA took it again. We didn't even get into, I mean, why is NVIDIA not on that list? I have no idea. But NVIDIA going to be P&L number 1. Look, the TQs, man, we should have been like, I feel like I had a keystroke error, but, you know, we went long. We dip bought the pre-market bottoms here. And this one is like NFT worthy. I mean, we buy the bottom, plant those plant those red flowers all the way to the upside, get a good take here. Obviously, it continues to rip, but we basically went from pre-market bottoms to pre-market highs right there. That's $1. Those are big trades for me. Then we tried VWAP and got out. Let me now zoom in because this is where it's going to get a little more interesting. This trade's kind of easy. It came into the pre-market, easy peasy. We like that trade 3 times there, bang, bang. This is right when we were going off air. We were buying this 1052, boom, huge move. Then look at this. This is about that's 25s, that's 15s, 10 cents worth of a hit. Let's go. I'll even say awesome. I'll take that all day. Then it comes back in. We buy a little bit more. Then we buy a little bit. We're not out. We're just taking some out quickly. Comes back up. Buy some more. This is 73.40, right? What looks the same? It's this bottom. We buy that. Look at this out. 73.85. So that's 40 cents again, right? Then it comes back in and I buy more. And then this happens. So I'm just trying to think, like, why would I buy more here at 35 only to get punched out at 28? Like, it doesn't even make sense. So I feel like something must have triggered there, but we got stopped out. I think it was an old stop. We should have given this one at least 10 or 15 cents. So remember I told you there's going to be lots of examples of this. I don't do this that often, but I feel like it was an old stop. And for some reason, we were using 30 as the stop. But you don't get long at 35 and then put your stop at 30. And look what it cost me. Huge. So whatever. Still a big P&L name for me, but that was a little bit of a mistake there. Getting out of the TQs. And now I can tell you confidently, the #1 symbol here for Trader TV Live this month are the futures. So that's going to be good, man. Really happy to continue to trade that. I want to thank everybody in the chat for asking for more futures trading. And it's always on here. So that's the TQs. I don't know if you had to look at the SPY, Neil, but honestly, I did not look at that.
Only on a daily. Like every single morning, generally like to get a lay of the land as to like what you might be looking at here. And just for the SPY, it'll be easier to see on a 15-minute than a daily chart. So you added this pivot point for the last couple of days at 554, 554, close, hold, resistance, and then now turning into a support level. So as long as it's holding on to this, looking pretty decent for the SPY. And what's also happened, I mean, the futures and the NASDAQ, it's at 20,000. We just go back and forth. So as long as we're bouncing off 554, I think you're good. The strong stocks, we get down to that level, look for dip buy support this afternoon if we pop back into it. It's just as long as it holds that, I think you look pretty good there. And then the 20,000 level on the NASDAQ kind of speaks for itself. I just wanted to quickly go, before we go back to Google, MGOL. I forgot that they reverse split, but as you can clearly see, if they didn't reverse split, then something happened. But it halted to the upside. I haven't heard any news or anything. And the volume before this halted, the volume was under 100,000 shares. It's now only 140,000 shares. So haven't heard anything specific, but we've seen things that reverse split, smaller float, then you get some kind of a squeeze because there's low liquidity, and that could just be the case on Mogul. It's indicating it's going to open up at like 390, so this might actually have some continuation, at least based on the current tap.
Multiple headlines for this one today. We started off the day finding out that the deal with Wiz was off the table. It was a $23 billion acquisition that was supposed to put Google in a better position for cloud security to take on some of its competitors, AWS specifically. We also got headlines that they were choosing not to remove the cookie feature from their Chrome browser, despite some competitors, specifically Safari, having already done the same. Then Morgan chimed in as well on Google today with maintaining their overweight rating on Alphabet and boosting the price target to about $210. Sean was just talking about the level on this one being in the 190s. We could see a new high of day this afternoon.
Yeah, new high of day this afternoon, a new 52-week and brand new all-time high after hours. I just want to talk about Palantir just real quick because I'm about to get potentially stopped out on this trade. Look, this is a monster trade. This one right here, and we're giving trades for different styles, right? That TQ style was dropping back in, catch that falling knife off a key level. This was a Palantir break of right here, man, 28.60. We pounded this one. That's why we have so many outs so early. We got it, and it just kept on. It actually went against us about 10 cents. Then when it went back up, we started taking 7, 8 cents. Then it really started blasting. Our best outs here in the 90s. This out at O's. We did not get anything out here at 20, hoping that we would continue to moon, but we still have a small piece left. If we break through 29, we gone on this one. Look, Google has so many levers they can pull, I feel like. I don't know. Again, like I don't know if they're wearables, what that's doing right now. I know that they still have the watch that they released. I haven't heard much about that. I know they have new Pixels, earbuds and phones and all that. That's fine. But really, it's the cloud. Let's see now as some of these companies start to monetize some of the AI build-outs, right? And so I saw like an ad for Amazon the other day on TV, and it was talking about all their stuff that their AI can do for your companies, right? And so Google, the same type of thing here, as now when you search on Google, you actually get a little response there from Gemini. So, I mean, they're trying to monetize it. Yep. I feel like they're getting better and better at this. And, honestly, with Kamala Harris, it's like she is very... I feel like, anyways, from what I've been reading, and again, this is just what I've been reading, is that she's much more in tune with Silicon Valley than Joe Biden ever was. And that makes sense, right? I mean, Joe Biden walked with the strike at Ford and big union guy, things like that. And that's fine. And he's not anti-tech. But realistically, we had a huge move yesterday when she was basically, I mean... no one's going to run against her, but basically handpicked as the new nominee there for the Democratic Party. So I feel like we saw a nice move up yesterday. And if Google just starts talking nicely, man, Sundar Pichai, this guy's going to figure this thing out. Google moons, I think. A lot of business angles here. Let's see where search advertising lies for Google. But I'll probably stay away from the name. in a day trade, unless we do come back in here to VWAP, which would mean that, you know, some of these other shorts that I have are probably more in concern for mine. But right now, I like Google. I like what it's doing. It's up 1%. The market is flat. Feel like that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think it's less than, just under 6% is what we're expecting for Alphabet. So that would take it right into like 93, 94 to the upside, which feels about right. I can't tell you how many times, and this is entirely anecdotal, but since we've been doing the show, like we use, like you day trade, you look at some things, and you don't always pay attention to others. And I feel like when it comes to the expected move, I've been noticing this on specifically trending names that have pulled back going into earnings. And in this case, like Google with this bounce, it's almost like it gets to a level and then there's an equilibrium between where it's hanging around and then that previous high. Can you come to the chart for a second there, Ramin? Like an equilibrium between here and the expected move tends to not be too far out in front of that high or just in front of it or just out the other way. So I think this is just about right for Alphabet. I don't know if there's going to be, like Sean said, I don't know if we get a dip buy. But if the market is flat and you are trending up, then I like a pullback into VWAP. If the market is flat and you are trending down, in a general sense, I like a push up into VWAP for a bit of a short trade opportunity. I just heard some news on Mattel. Let's go get AVGO there. That MGOL still halted, now indicating a $4 open. It looks like a 10-minute halt for Mogul. Yeah, that should be an interesting one. Almost no volume.
No real headline today for Broadcom, but there was this piece from last Thursday. They were exploring the possibility of making a chip with Nvidia. That had it moving up nicely. We also know that Broadcom really being looked at by investors as a possible substitute here for Nvidia for those who can't stomach Nvidia's valuation. It also did about a 10-to-1 split a few weeks ago, so more retail investment in this one. But again, really no headline, up between 1 4/5 and 1 3/4.
I'm thinking.
I feel like I'm broader than Broadway.
Yeah.
Little Barrington Levy right there.
I thought you were going to throw a little Joe Namath there.
Oh, Broadway Joe. I can. I'm not. I mean, I'm a Bills fan, right? So
best Jets quarterback since Aaron Rodgers.
What about Brett Favre?
What about Sam Darnold? Yeah,
here's my thing. Just before we get to Broadcom.
Or who's that guy? No, not Nick.
No,
Foles.
Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez. As far as I'm concerned, like that butt fumble is maybe the single best football gaffe highlight since Leon Lett. And as a Buffalo Bills fan, like all the respect in the world for Mark Sanchez. The guy, and he's got a good sense of humor about it. I think that's hella cool, man, because that gets played all the time. And sometimes people don't like that stuff. But AVGO, super strong stock today. Congratulations if you happen to be long. I feel like these graphics are a little bit louder. Apologies if that was loud in everybody's ear. But yeah, it's on the floor. Apparently, it's just to us. But Broadcom is taking the stairs to the upside. That's why it's broader than Broadway. So, look, we like AVGO. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not really split adjusted. Let me just pull up my trade ideas chart so I can show you guys a higher time frame look on Broadcom. Because the daily, you want to see what's going on here. And this is what I'm not going to bother full screening it, but pulls back on the daily into the 50 period and see how it's gliding above it. So higher lows since we had this last little dip in Broadcom, higher lows and higher highs. I think it's got a nice little trend on it. You can draw the channel in there. When that happens, you're pretty good buying the dips. I think the approach, if you're trading this name as opposed to some of the others, is, hey, just look for each single day that higher low retest. Find that bid on the way back up. Try and grab some. We keep not talking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA 122.5 again. Wow, these wicks. I got some wicks on the chart I need to clean up here. But 122.5. It just keeps bouncing off that level. That's that pivot spot. Resistance, resistance. And then today, support on NVIDIA. But it's only support until it ain't. And right now, it's threatening to not be support anymore here on NVIDIA. But we'll try it again. It keeps on turning at 123. It can't seem to get through that number at any point. So back into NVIDIA here, 122.5. Some tunage there.
Yeah, I'm going to show a video. I'm trying to save it on my phone because.
Yeah,
so my daughter's just here at hockey, so I talk about her all the time. So here's a highlight. She was on the ice. Was actually some NHL players. I was talking to Big Patty Ice and those guys there today. So, so this is her. So here we go. Oh, well, see ya. And you don't get to see it, but her shot is sick, wicked, and nasty. right there. So it's like, how you do? Oh, there's Nvidia.
Peace.
Oh, we're here. See you later. And there it is, a nice little shot upside. And then she just looks up at her mother, like, as in, like, not like us, you know. So right there, shout out to my daughter.
I'm surprised she doesn't give like the too little to the other guy.
If I showed her that,
do they do stuff like that in hockey, or is it just basketball?
No, but she probably would. No, she's really, her spirit is much more than mine. She is so beloved by everybody. It's crazy how she is. And anyway, she's something else. She made me another bracelet yesterday. Best dad ever, and it says Slay on it. So there we go. Anyways, I'll probably get emotional, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so what are we talking about? Broadcom.
What
you guys didn't even talk about NVIDIA for some strange reason. So right here, this is NVIDIA. It's the #1 P&L name here today. It was the #1 P&L name yesterday, and it will probably be, as long as we trade it, the #1 P&L name tomorrow. But there it is, coming right back in right now. As we hit the sirens, we are now out of that last 10% of NVIDIA as it breaks lower. The market is starting to go to the downside right now and trying to break lower, as we said. So there's the 50 period on the market. Here is NVIDIA breaking. So looky. This is not a name for me to be going long on. We are down 1% right now. The market is basically flat. NVIDIA is weaker. We had NXPI yesterday make that move to the downside, right? Although pretty stable, still down 9%, not giving great guidance for dem chip names. So that's a nice little move down there for NXPI as we continue to go. I just wanted to see what AMD was, because I'm trying to find like the strongest of the worst. AMD is there. We've absolutely, I mean, again, you guys, this is the #1 name on the sticky note today, and we actually wound up getting Moneybag Yo. What's that guy's name? That's right? All right, surprised myself sometimes. I'm like, there's some sort of a random rapper that's Moneybag something. I mean, there's Lil Baby, Lil Wayne, Lil Gunna. There's all these guys.
I'm not going to pretend I ever heard no
I know you don't know. I know a lot of them, but I can't keep up right now. But who's that? There's a new guy that's British. Like Ice Spice is with this guy. Central C. Yeah, I'm gonna go check that guy out when I'm in London. I'm gonna hit them guy up on Instagram.
Central C, is that what?
Yeah, he's pretty bad. I mean, he had some bad songs, especially with one with Lil Baby there. But anyways, downside right now, 32.90 coming in. There's not many that are okay. Nice move down on Intel today for that. So let's just keep on watching out what's happening right now with Intel. Strong name today, actually. I'm surprised. I thought that it would have not been able to hold all these levels, but this is not. I know we've done really well on Intel. Intel's a positive name today. Not that positive though, but it is positive. With this kind of movement, I just want to say, like, probably I will. I know it's the #1 name on here. It's a positive name. Probably going to stay away from Intel moving forward until we get like a real serious catalyst, not just shorting pops, because it's not doing much right here. And this lets me think that like I can really load up on shares like we did, and we almost got ran over, which is why I have all of these outs right here. I was very nervous about this stock, and I really feel like I tipped my cap to Intel because I feel like we had a great read on it. We were nervous that it wouldn't really do much today, and I feel like that's exactly what happened. So we could have made a lot more, but at the same time, hard to predict that it was just going to sort of barcode all afternoon. When you've seen some lot of movement, I mean, you just went over AVGO. But I mean, like, there's a lot of movement here. This is $2 on NVIDIA, right? So there's been some key levels held and some key levels broke on NVIDIA and AMD. And I didn't look at Broadcom, but maybe.
Well, I mean, I didn't trade it. Oh, I paid for locates. I'll get to ARM in a quick second. I actually paid for locates on ARM, and they're unused for now. MGOL, it opened up. It didn't last very long. It doubled in volume, but opened at 4. Now it's at 448. The tap is exactly flat as we speak. But there's a couple of names out here weak. Micron down 1%, just broke. And so Micron, there's the opening low. There was sort of a support level at 114.40 to a half. Gonna look for a short back into here. If not there, like VWAP is too far away. And then ARM, as you mentioned, just looking at the things that are relatively weak. So as I said, I paid for locates on ARM earlier today. And when it was down here, threatening that you might actually get a test, like it was breaking out, looked like it might not hold underneath, this yesterday's high, and you were going to break down. I had this drawn as a trend line. I'm like, if it breaks trend, I'm going to look short. and then right after it doesn't break trend. I mean, obviously, and then it just went absolutely ham to the upside. So that's when I say ARM is like the shorts are unused, and I think it's a good thing because I was waiting for confirmation that you were going to lose this trend over here on ARM, and it absolutely held it like a champion. So it bounced right off of that, and then went like $5 up in a matter of like 15 minutes. So ARM is a high flyer. If anything, if it loses 117, like it's broken the steep trend. Sorry, 171, not 117. If it loses 171, this could retrace if this market does want to head to the downside. So ARM is super, super strong. That's why I just went over to Micron to look to short the pops. Down 1%, trending down. If the market's losing it today, I mean, it's lower hanging fruit. Back to Adara.
Keep an eye on this RTX Corporation here, formerly known as Raytheon. This is going to be a defense and aerospace company. They're trading lower, it looks like, here after Wall Street Journal reported that Airbus is in talks with Rolls-Royce on a narrow body engine. So with this news, Airbus is in talks with Rolls-Royce. We have RTX trading lower with strong volume. Boeing got a bit of a topping tail candle here, but Boeing still strong. RTX, though, selling off a bit on this report, guys.
Go Boeing.
Yeah, Boeing, nice little look there. Coming through. Ramin, my bad on that blackberry yuzu there. She sent me, I think I got the wrong one. You wanted the watermelon one, and I got the blackberry one. So,
huh?
Yeah. I went to Tim's and I got. I mean, you didn't want an apple fritter. I got Ramina a little, some sort of yuzu drink. Oh. She's fine with the one I got her.
Beggars can't, I mean, it's kind enough to get something.
Delicious.
It's like, it's delicious. So you made a good choice.
Oh, she did not. Okay, it's not. Oh, it's wild berry. My bad. It's pink. That's why. It's pink. Therefore, it was automatically
It does say wild.
This is what she sent to me. I looked at this. I thought this was watermelon.
No, I would have guessed what.
It's clearly wild berry hibiscus lemonade. So I got the blackberry yuzu breeze. I made that part up. I don't know. It's something like that. I have no idea what the difference is. Right there. Okay, so that's what we're having right now as we go. So
Mogul's about to.
So we can go band for band, but I don't know if that's going to matter around here because there's Palantir. We'll take it out right now as we get a little piece out right now on Palantir as that starts to go to the downside there. We're going to hold on to our Tesla and see if we can get 246. I think we can take that out near the end of the day. But the thing is this. Thank you, Professor. Is that it's always good when the student, gets a question asked by the professor, over here. I like that. But no, what if there's some loose hands there at the end of the day, right? Like people maybe potentially nervous about Tesla taking out that bottom. What if we do take it out? Do all the longs get flushed a little bit? Nervous hands coming into the close for Tesla, or it can be completely the other way around. So we're going to play this as pretty much as smooth as we possibly can here and just say to ourselves, if Tesla breaks VWAP, why don't we get out and relook at this thing at 250? I mean, I really think that putting $1 in our pocket on a VWAP break of 249, that's completely fine. Will we give up an extra $1 by getting out now? Yes. But I feel like holding for that bottom move, market under VWAP. I mean, and I talked to Patrick about this earlier. I don't know where this guy is now. I think some of them are just practicing some golf over there. But at the end of the day, I was like, look, dude, what do people want when they're watching the show? They want trade ideas. They want us to explain to them why we're taking these trades. They want to know, are we winning on trades? What are the end results of these trades? And he was completely, I spoke with Captain Protein as well. He's like, completely. That is the point of what we're doing. Showing you guys where we're getting in, showing you the winners, showing you the losers, and being able to take questions about these positions and trying to explain them to the best as possible. So right now, my risk to reward is, let's see if this gets back up to VWAP, which would be a break of 249. So we can put our stop in right there. Or if you thought that was a little too greasy and you wanted to sort of get out a little bit earlier, nothing wrong with looking at this 248.50 area. But my logic would be here. And again, so far so good, is let's see what happens here at the bottom. We ignored it there. So let's see, man. That would be 245.50 or so. That's the bottom of the day. If we come in here and we bounce off of it, then we could maybe punch out on a 246.25 or something, break higher. Let's see if this gets one more chance to come in here for Tesla, man. Real traders unite. I feel like this could be a good one.
Yeah, if it gets to VWAP, I think rinse and repeat is also in play as well.
Yeah.
So Tesla looks pretty good going into these earnings for a little bit of volatility this afternoon. I'm only in SPWR now after Nvidia lost that level. So this should be relatively simple. So this is what it did at the dollar retrace. It got down here to like 96. I got out, it reclaimed it, then held the same low and didn't break VWAP. I have not reloaded this off of VWAP, but if it bounces off $1 again, I'll go long off $1 again. If it loses VWAP, I will get out. So sometimes VWAP, like if it wasn't VWAP, I'd probably do this at $1 anyways, but it happens to be VWAP and a buck, so that keeps it relatively simple over there. So I mentioned Micron. It's starting to creep back into the upside. All right, so when it was here and on the way up, I had an offer to try and catch it. Now, since then, it's already flushed into 114 and is recovering now. So on the way up, I'd like to see it get into this 114.5, then jump into a short. If it was at VWAP, maybe I'd already be into it, but I want to play it a little bit more patiently here in Micron. And it's just relatively weak. Like, you're making lower highs on this stock, I said, as opposed to, say, ARM, although ARM is looking kind of juicy for a trend reversal if this loses 171. The problem is the NASDAQ is doing nothing and possibly reclaiming this 20,000 level. So we're going to look for some opportunities out there. Just a cautionary tale in Mogul. I cannot give a very good explanation as to why there was no halt down. From what I have no idea why it got to like $5 and then pulled back to $4.30 and didn't halt down when I had no trouble halting up twice, but pulling back pretty decently here into VWAP and $4. The volume's actually starting to pick up. So it was 140,000 after the first halt. It's almost 1 million shares now. So it's starting to look a little bit more tradable. But yeah, sometimes I never really understand why it'll halt on this move. That's 320, 326 to 363. Like, okay, so it goes at 10%. But when we pull back from 490 down to like 420, no halt there. That's obviously 10% as well. But anyways, it's a halt fest over on MGOL. If it can start to do some kind of reasonable consolidation without a bunch of halts, maybe look for something off 4 to 420. I'll keep my eyes on it if the volume wants to stay up. So patience here on Micron. Here it is pressing into that high. Shows any weakness up here, we'll look for a bit of a curl. Ideally, the futures would be at 20,000. The NASDAQ would be at 20,000 to also engage in a short. So just got to be patient with it. It's coming right back in. Maybe AMD VWAP as well, but that's nowhere close to VWAP. Still a good 70 cents away. I feel like this is at a resistance spot now.
All right, I'm debating adding some more details to the sticky note here because yesterday I was just like, oh, let me check out this is not my profile. Let me check out what ARM is doing. There, yeah, that was nice. I was like, who's that kid? But there it is right there. ARM 162 long by the dips. This is from yesterday. So I was just like, let's just go check out, let's see what ARM is doing, might as well go have a quick look. What? ARM opened today at 162? Like, come on, man. Like, that should have been a long down there. If I liked it yesterday, why would I not like it today? Missed that opportunity, so I'll slap a fail on that. But if those of you looked at the sticky note or keeping notes on that, I feel like that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start looking now at day 2 plays because I liked ARM yesterday at 162. We were talking about that play all day and just was not able to get it. It came in near the end of the day. And remember, we were talking about this and just never came in. And then today when it was doing all this, come on, man. Definitely a missed opportunity right there. But you know what that does? It just gives my confidence even more of a boost because that's great. That's another level that we nailed yesterday. Just didn't follow through today. So that's great. Really happy with that. Nice move up there for ARM. Today, nice 5% and holding some of these levels. So what I'm looking for now is, you see, we just got a nice little retracement back up to VWAP. So that's all nice and good. But we don't really right now have a good feel for any of these names. We've talked about some ones that we're trying to look at here. We still have that Tesla short, which is actually holding short right now, despite the market making this move. We did get stopped out of our Nvidia, and with any confidence, we could have reloaded it here on barcoding. But again, I'd rather wait. We're not that far away. You're at 20,000 now. If you're looking for shorts, this you know, hard to not maybe go for something. We nailed the TQs. The TQ is still going to be a top name for us, obviously, as we just went long, and just got dripped out right there. We talked about that trade, but that was a huge one. These were huge. And I'm right now debating if we like this VWAP trade and we have 20,000 there, we could just go over here and play it with the TQQs. So that top right there is 74.17. I feel like we're getting close enough to put something on. VWAP, again, the 50 period is there. Just trying to find out what the exact numbers are. 74.14, okay, so that's good. That's what that is. And sorry, we're above the 50, but the 200 is right there as well, 74. So I feel like this might be worth it. Let's put on a little bit. Oh, we missed it. Let's just punch. Oh, we got it again, okay. So here we are now. We're short at 97s right now on the TQs. And I'm just going to try to go here into this. See if we can play a range. If it doesn't want to go range bound, then it won't. But again, we'll try to show different styles for different traders here. We'll try to go range bound right now on the TQs. And if it means scalping out a little bit, then that's what we have to wind up doing right now. So remember, 20 cents worth of risk here for the TQQs.
I feel like about the same here on MU. It's about 114.80 to next level up there on Micron. So I just jumped into it. I'm going to get to Amazon in a quick second. So just jumped in. Actually had a stop from a different level, like down here.
Yeah.
We went in and out flat, but we're right back in at the same price. But Amazon's holding VWAP. So if we break 20,000, Amazon long. You know, whether or not it's down here, 186.75, or if we're breaking 20,000, I assume we're going to be above VWAP in there, and we'll look for something a little bit higher. Maybe an 88 break, maybe just a hold of VWAP in general. But Amazon up 2.6%. I want to make sure I got to that. So Micron, we just grabbed that one into the south side. If we get back down into this previous level, 114 in the 30s, we're going to look to get some out there. And I mentioned AMD was nowhere near VWAP. Had it been, I think that would look good. Nvidia holding underneath that 122.50. So I don't wonder if this is turning into a resistance spot on Nvidia. I might have just said AMD. On Nvidia, that 122.50, yeah, I might like this as well as short. I wanted confirmation it's failing down here because I've been only looking long Nvidia all day. And if that level is going to be a pivot, I think I want to respect it. So I went into Micron instead. I do have eyeballs on ARM. Yeah, we're not going to get VWAP over there on ARM. But guess what? ARM, still no break of 171. Just hold, hold, hold. There is a buyer in here. And until that's exhausted, forget about it. Unless you are going long off 171, which under this 20,000, I'm not really apt to do.
All right. We just said shorting the futures. I mean, this is what we just did right there again. So it's a nice little push down here. And what we're trying to do is it's to 242. We do this every single afternoon where we just try to make smaller plays. And we talked about what the strategy was. So there you go, right? Putting on, I mean, you guys know we've already talked about share size and differences. I try to put on some shares here. If I could take 10 cents, we just did that. And then we also took 15 cents. So remember where our stop was, just north of $74. And so we already took that 1-to-1. Let's see if we can hold it now. And the fact that we took less than 1-to-1 means now that we could start to potentially reload some of these trades as we come back in one more time here. So again, like the trade here on the TQs. Let's see if we can hold the short underneath. And we actually... And again, I talked, like I was saying, I was talking about this. I'm always looking for feedback. I mean, I got some feedback today from some of the viewers as well. And it's just like, what are you guys looking for? What's going on? You guys looking for some good trades, looking for some good talk? I think we have all of that here. And I feel like the most important thing for all traders is to learn about, you know, other traders, how they're trading, what they're looking at, how their successes are. Are they successful? Are they not? And I just think that, like, when we took this trade, I was branching it out or explaining it that this was going to be a scalp on this trade, and we had a tighter stop, and this is what we're looking for. We'll always try to hold, and this is why sometimes it blows up, right, in our face. It's like, oh my God, we wind up flat on the stock. Because I'm always trying to hold for that extra little push, and I think today it really worked out for us. I mean, we wound up having big trades on the TQs. We currently do have $2.50 in the money right now on Tesla, and again, explained why we're holding this. You know, it's like, you'll see Obi tomorrow. Again, he'll probably have a couple dollar winners on as well. You gotta, and depending on the market, depending on the stock, what's your style? Is it profitable? Can you explain it? That kind of stuff, right? And so, like, it's nice when things work out. Sometimes they don't. But we're going to wait to see if 246.50 comes through, 245 to the bottom side of this. And then again, we will reload these TQs. And Intel is really like, I should just get out of this to show, like, I have so little shares on it. Look how many outs that we have. Was really just hoping that we would get a break and should have got out when we didn't get that break. It looks like we got out of Palantir. We talked about that breaking through 29. That's just kind of ho-humming right now. Snapchat is the only red stock we have today. I have today. Get in trouble when we say we. I have one red name today. So we'll go 7-1 or 6-1. And it's one red name and it's Snapchat. And we should talk about it because it's on the sticky note. So I thought 15 would hold. We got a catalyst day upgrade at Morgan or somewhere. I think I wrote down Morgan. It just didn't hold. It didn't hold 15. It came in. Not much action in the pre-market. So we'll take that as a note next time. Comes in. We left it alone for a while. It finally breaks 15 back to the upside. We buy that. Comes in, dip buy. We were up on Snapchat at this point. But then once this happened, we were unable to hold it. And we will turn red on Snapchat today. So again, not a bad day. We'll have one red name, but a Snapchat there. Again, hard to talk about our winners and not talk about our losers. So there it is right there. Snapchat is a red name for me today.
Yeah, Snapchat was a frustrating one. It was a good trade early off the first bounce, but sometimes, it's easy to say in complete hindsight, but it gave the bounce where you want it, so you take the shot. It made the move into 15, it put the lower high, and then it broke out the bottom. And what's weird about it, it was actually, at that moment, it was exactly a short off the same level. Who knew? We talk about that flipping, so sometimes you get to that pivot spot, which is at 1480. You're willing to get out of it and take the L, but you go right back. You got to get out of it. Look at this thing. Like, it absolutely cratered when it lost 1480 down to 1455. You're not going to hold on for 2 extra points. That's kind of crazy. But it pulls right back in. Not sure what's up about this volume spike, if that's legit. But that is the biggest volume spike of the day. I just pulled this up now. I hadn't seen it until Sean pulled up the chart. Biggest volume spike of the day at the low at 230 on Snapchat. I would suspect maybe there's something up there, but maybe it's made a bottom. A lot of times you look for a bottoming tail candle to have that big, massive volume spike. That's almost too big. And the fact that it's not moving or doing any increased volume right now makes me a little bit skeptical with that move. A lot of times you'd be seeing that and then a big reversal, or at least still doing some crazy activity, but I'm not seeing that at all. So Micron just pulled back into those 40s. We'll try to reload this if it gets back into the 60s and 70s on MU. Still got the eyeballs on Nvidia, holding underneath 122.50, and ARM refuses here to, NASDAQ stock, still refusing to break this 171. So if this market does give it up, it doesn't have to, but if this market gives it up, ARM, it's very clear support at 171. If it loses that, I think a pullback into VWAP gets you $1.50 on ARM. So I'm going to have that up pretty much the entire afternoon, looking for an opportunity at a break on that stock. And then if we hold some strength, I'd like to see Amazon back above VWAP if we're breaking 20,000, but that is the other name that we're watching. And your MGOL, yeah, it's now barcoding, not really barcoding, that's the wrong word for it. The volume has died down here precipitously, and it's back into $4. Something's going to have to give. I'm not sure I like it for a secondary rally. It is over 1 million shares now, but the buyers have seemingly evaporated from MGOL. I don't even know what the news story was here. I don't even think I heard a news story for this one.
All right, TQ. So again, we are now, honestly, we're out of about 60% of this trade right now. It's 14 cents in the money. Our stop, we already talked about where that was right here at 70. Actually, I put it in 74.20s. So we need this to come down just a little bit more. Either way, I still think a reload is intact up here on the TQQs as it just keeps going upside down right now. We're hoping for something to happen. You guys are 100% right. And again, this is what's special to me is that I look over in the chat and you guys are now, you're giving great opportunities and great ideas. And I feel like it's exactly the kind of trade that I'm looking at, and that's Google. It's right here in the chat. Oh, it's you, Rivian Millionaire. Right there, Google at VWAP. I mean, you're right. This is a trade that I should like. The only thing is, remember, we talked about this. I don't, into earnings right now. It's just, there's going to be positioning in the last hour as people get ready for this. So I kind of, although the market's really slow, I think this is worth a shot here if you want to take it. For me, and again, it is a little bit about preserving the net. I mean, we talked about that, having another a good day today and not putting, you know, trades out just for the sake of it. But I do like this trade, and I'll talk about it if other people like it. I mean, I think that this is a good play. You make a new high, you pull back to VWAP. This is normally a go for sure. So we could try this name. It's just I don't want to play around with fake emotions and stuff. I'm not gonna if I'm gonna put something on, I want to put it on. And I just don't know about this. That's 182.65. We could put something on and get really excited about it if it goes up, but I don't love this trade. So I think if you're gonna do something, maybe a push back into 182. Heading into earnings, things are a little different, I think. And we could be wrong on that because here I am thinking that Tesla's gonna make this move down. Meanwhile, the futures aren't doing anything, and neither is Tesla. So I think there's two ways of playing it. Either we stay in a pocket here, in which case means I'm going to get wicked out too much. Like if I start buying Tesla now, get out if it drops. I mean, no one's going to trade Tesla for 30 cents, but get out if it drops 30 cents. Right now, that might be what you have to do. So that's a little bit unreasonable to say, I'm going to try to buy the bottoms and sell the tops on Tesla. Like it's going to break one way or the other. So you're kind of flipping coins right now on those kind of names. So I'd like to look at something that's actually moving, which we say coins, and that brings me over to, as I see right here, Coinbase and the rest of them right now, crypto market heading a little southbound, 66,000 right now for Bitcoin, 34 and change for ETH as it's ETF day for ETH. Nice move to the downside there, trying to hold out right here on Coinbase. Broke through, so for me, it's a short, broke through the 50-period moving average. You can quite clearly see what happens when it takes it, then it loses it. So we'll see right now, 258.50, the bottom there. That could be a good little move if we break lower, 258.50 on Coinbase. President Trump will debate Kamala Harris. I think that's a no-brainer there. I don't know if he has to, but he might as well. 260 right there. It was funny because I heard someone say it was yesterday, I think it was Bill Burr. He said he's like, it's actually, he doesn't know if this is good or bad for Trump because Trump beat a female in Hillary Clinton and then lost to Joe Biden. So now it comes back to Kamala again. So a lot of it is a matter of not only the party, but you're trying to get that first female president. So there's just a lot at play, especially with this next election. So it's going to be like a really crazy event, I think, come November.
Yeah. We're going to have to keep our ear to the ground for any news because sometimes that'll move the market. Right, Adara?
Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving in the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
There you go. And I don't know what the news is on Holo. Micro cloud hologram here, up 38% on, and we talk about things doing volume. Remember the MGOL? Like, yeah, the volume looks like it's poor and declining. Well, MGOL lost $4. Like, there was no dip buy to be had. This is still doing increasing volume as it goes up. So good luck there. It's a penny stock, but 62 million shares and counting. It's going to do 100 million today, almost no question about it. So there have been some pretty big dips in this where that's a dip and rip, but the last dip was a very reasonable consolidation area. So if you're looking at Holo, a lot of penny stock daily charts are going to look like this. So brace yourself for it. It's not pretty. The last time it did a big move down, its bounce and resistance was at 70 cents. So that 70-cent level looks like the big one. And then from there, like 80 pennies. So you still have some room that Holo could still go. But if it bounces off that 70 to the downside, maybe a little bit of rubber band action could be in play. Certainly the mover there. But this is why, I mean, volume matters. See this one? Trying to break the high, declining volume, don't buy the dip, and it continues to fall. MGOL, we wouldn't have had free locates anyways, and the volume pretty slow. But this Holo move, again, on no volume, I'm not a huge fan of chasing this up at the tops. If it can find some kind of a dip buy bid, that could at least be a little bit more interesting there. Crap stock saying Oxy's at VWAP on the daily. I'm looking for a place back into Oxy. I did not buy the last dip on that one, I have to admit. The Buffett levels are pretty much in and around where, just underneath where it's trading here. I think at like 61 was his last buy, or low 60, something like that. But good luck on Oxy, but into a potential reload zone here on Micron. As the futures, back and forth, 30 handle range on the NASDAQ. If you're watching the ES, I don't know. It's a tight range on the ES as well, maybe like 20 or 30 points. But we're looking for a reload. Once we see a little bit of weakness come back into Micron, we're going to jump onto it. And again, if we break 20,000, it's Amazon I have my eyes on for longs.
Yeah, I can't believe that Amazon 186, man. We should have had that like crazy. So these are on their way. I finally got some Air Max 90s coming through. So I'm going to try those on, get some traveling shoes there for London. We'll see what's going on with some Air Max 90s. Let's look at some Foot Locker right now. All right, 27 break. I mean, I just want to look. That's who I made the order through, and they shipped it the next day. I made this order last night. So, all right, 27, little break high. I mean, this name's been beat up. I mean, that earnings report was bad. We can also look at NKE. I mean, that's probably a little more exciting as well. Actually, trade that name. Nike, okay, down 1.5. So Nike going one way, Foot Locker going the other. But yeah, Nike right now below VWAP, looking to get a little bit lower. I like the stock, but not the action on Nike right here. We just bought some the other day at 72 and change for the long haul. We'll see if Nike can get going one more time through that level. And you can see we just talked about Google a little bit and not doing a whole heck of a lot there is Google. But you were right, Rivian millionaire. What else is new? You're a millionaire, right? It's just like right there. You could have had a VWAP buy. So if you did buy 71s, I mean, you got up to 88, 89. I mean, I think that's worth scalping. We just took 15 cents a bunch of times on TQQs. So I feel like you could do that for sure. $2 in the money now on Tesla and not much going on with Intel. So we'll have to look somewhere else right now. Let's look at Donkey Kong, DKNG here as we go. And I know Sharif and Adair are new to the game here, but like naming stocks ridiculous names started a long time ago. We had Mr. Softy.
Well, that's an old one.
Yeah. And then so we came up with Mr. Softy, and then we also came up with Donkey Kong right there. I don't know if there's anything that you've pointed out, not Neil, but right now it is out of hand as the midday show. Even IWM has a name, so
that one's a little bit weird.
That one's a little weird to me too.
Oh, SPR.
But all right, as we go, go ahead, man.
Two things I was gonna get to. I'll get to Holo in a quick little second, but SPR loses the dollar. That's coded, whatever. You guys can see out and short. As you guys can see, it lost VWAP very quickly. I did still have a piece from the original one long, but I was out of majority of it, but I just took a new position short. So I think being patient is going to matter. I went for the hero trade here off of 110, and that's the bad one. And then you take the good one off of $1. But if it's failing a buck, then I want to be short underneath it. And while that happened, I didn't pay for locates on Holo, but that 70 actually went to 69, 68. And pulled back into 63. So it went to that big level on the daily and did its pullback on HOLO. But it's SPR that we're into now. Short essentially, I mean, it's a coincidence that 98.5 happens to be VWAP, but that's where I have it here. We'll see if it retraces the entire move. And as it pushes to the downside, going to have bids into 90. Looks like the initial flush did give, I mean, I see wicks down here into 90. The amount of liquidity that's down there as it's running stops. Always questionable. It's on 170 million shares, so this is going to do a lot. That Holo, if it can take that 70 level, hold a higher low and take that 70, that could be spicy. It turned pretty much exactly where you would have wanted to. Now it's making another run at 70 even. That's HOLO. I know I'm on, just got into spot SPWR, but I have that one set up for a 70 break now.
All right. Reading feedback again. Okay, so let's just try to look. Oh, we were talking about DraftKings there, and we didn't do too much analysis here. Okay, thought it was moving again, but not doing a whole heck of a lot, but some nice little tops there. So what is moving? Does IBM report? I mean, here, let's go over and figure out who reports tonight. Yeah, is IBM tomorrow morning?
No,
okay.
Aftermarket tonight, I thought.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Who's reporting tonight, right? I thought you said tomorrow.
No, tomorrow. I thought it was tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow night. Okay, yeah. Could be. Someone said IBM in the chat there, and I was like, I don't know. I didn't see it. But right here, look, Google, Tesla, Visa, Coke we had this morning. And again, pretty disappointing, right? I mean, Coke expected move 2%, 0.6%. Neil talked about this earlier. There's Tesla at 9.3%.
Oh, I was
Google
wrong.
I think Google was 6, Tesla was 9, so that was good. I think didn't you say that?
I said 8.7.
8. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Different websites, different things there. All right, what else is coming through? Aftermarket close. Ooh, a big boy in Texas Instruments. We can maybe look at that one. TXN right there. Philip Morris was this morning up 2.3%, down 13%. We talked about UPS there today. AMC, after market close, CNI, Canadian National, not a big stock that will trade there, 4.5%. You have Spotify with an expected move, 10%. They gave you 12, so that's pretty in line, which if you're going to look at Spotify, probably why it's going back and forth and not doing a whole heck of a lot here, although it's had moves. But all right, who else is after market close? That's about it. Capital One, maybe with 4.5%. We'll go to second page here because there's always going to be more names coming through here that we can find. Enphase should be a big one. There it is.
That's a huge
actually, that was this morning, Enphase Energy. 0.2 it says. I don't know, did Enphase already come out? Right there, it looks like it probably already did. So we must have missed that one, I guess. Yeah, Enphase already says this move 0.2. I don't know. It says before market open on the 23rd. All right, so ACI there coming out. I don't really see too much anymore. I thought maybe Enphase was earlier, 6.7 billion. There still could be some more names. There's Mattel, 9%. That's been in the news recently. Maybe we can look at some Mattel shares to trade as we go. But yeah, that's about it, man. Not seeing too much else on the radar as we go into the single-digit billions right now. And if there's hundreds of millions, probably just some smaller stocks. So there you go. So the big ones today obviously will be Google, Alphabet, or Alphabet/Google, Tesla, and Visa Texas Instruments. Yeah, those are the names that I'm looking for.
I'm gonna look at
FCX was earlier
because I didn't see Enphase on the scanner for like it. If it came out, I didn't see it. I'm just gonna go over to here. I'll just do it live. I have it on my other screen here. I was just popping up my my trade ideas. I don't know if I see Enphase there. Enphase. It's confirmed. So this says aftermarket close.
Yeah,
so
probably is. It's not going to move 0.2%.
Yeah, I was going to say 0.2%. Like Enphase? No, that doesn't make sense. So I see it. Like there it is, aftermarket close. Shout out to Benzinga. You can see Twitter. Someone said Roaring Kitty tweeted. So I opened up a tab and found out the answer is no. I feel like everyone is hoping that he does something again. And like you can't just will into existence. Nothing going on there. But Enphase actually trending up for the day, but earnings haven't really happened yet. We'll see what happens with them. Aftermarket should be a big time mover. ENP, did you already go over the short float?
No, I didn't.
10% short float for them. That is not nothing. That is a good size short float for NPH. I think that's probably one of the things that are, I don't always cheer for things to go up, but when you got a short float in the double digits, it's certainly a heck of a lot more fun if it's breaking short SPACs as a day trade. Much more fun to do that than what usually happens to things with the short float is they have a short float for a reason and it goes to the downside. But I see Serve maybe making some moves in there. Keep double checking Amazon to see if it's back above VWAP, and every time I check, it's not above VWAP.
Oh yeah, Amazon. Maybe
like it's clearly strong relative to the market, but like it's actually failing at and under VWAP and not holding VWAP, which is usually that would signal you short it. But right. I don't know. I want this. If 20,000 breaks, I know why I want this one to the long. And we keep tracking ARM here, or ARM doesn't want to break 171. ARM looks so strong here off 5%. 5% up. This 171 buyer is certainly holding for it very, very well. Nvidia is starting to pump as well, so got to be cautious with that. Micron, I mean, it's holding on. It's round. You know what? Nvidia just broke 122.50. That's to the upside, by the way. So we're going to take some out Micron where it lies. Because if we're pumping to the upside on that chip name, I'm going to see if I can't get some Micron out, even if it is closer to just flat here. But you are pressuring to the upside on some chip names, at least, from what I could see. NVIDIA regaining that support, now making a little bit of a higher low as well. I'm just looking at my black chart up here. So we're going to take some out there. If we roll over further, then Micron can still be okay. Just don't like what I just saw with NVIDIA gaining a little bit of steam. And ARM was bouncing too.
Okay. All right. Nike's starting to move around here, hearing something in my ear. You know what I was thinking? Uber maybe as something here. Oh, I was going to look at Amazon. Oh, I did put it. I just put a trade. Oh, okay. Okay, Uber. Okay. This is actually looking pretty good here. Finally, something that looks like it wants to trend one way. Yeah, this is actually looking pretty good, especially if you can get some bumps. I mean, we just made that move down right now off the 50 period. I don't know why we just gapped like that 5 pennies, but okay. Anyways, looking to take down that bottom. This could be a decent one right here. Uber breaking lower right now into this. Yeah, let's try this. I actually don't mind this with the 50 period stop out right there. 67.75. Okay, we can try this right now on Uber. I mean, we're looking to make a few more trades. So let's try to go. Whoops, what was that? Why did this trigger? Okay, I have to deal with this. I do not mean to be in. I should have put, my trigger for Amazon was a break of 188. So I'm actually just going to, just as fast as we're in, we're going to punch out of that one. We just bought 187.03. So I must have put in the wrong trigger. So we'll just punch out of that immediately. Let me just go over to Uber quickly here. I like Amazon a 188 break. So that's what I meant to talk about. But right now, Uber, I think we like that break, right? So that break right there is this low of in the afternoon of 67.75. So let's do that, man. 67.74. I mean, we might as well just go even dollars here if we can, and then just put this in to punch short on Uber. Whoopsies. We'll see if that wants to go right there through on Uber. We'll get that short ready to go, and hopefully it does fire off. What I was going to say is before we looked at that Uber was Amazon. So we actually had built this out. There you go. Are we in Uber? No, close. This was the trade that we had talked about earlier, breaking through 186, right? We didn't send this out. This is something I'm working on, and it was breaking through the high there of 186. We wanted to give a little bit more of a range. We said this 180 over the week up to 186 was barcoding, and it was due for this break. When we missed that 185 or 186 break, that kind of sucked, and I don't want to chase it, but I will play strength on this name. So I'm not going to wait for the futures. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to play it. If Amazon breaks, not here, 188. I wanted to see it get past this level right into here, and then we can start to use some 188s or the 200 period as a back testing level. So that could be where we get out of if it comes back in, but I thought to play the strength in this name, not buy dips. So that was a keystroke error. We got in and got out there for flat. Didn't cost us anything. So now let's wait to see what happens here with Amazon, hopefully coming in, and then the new trade of mine, and we'll give it a shot. Will be Uber, right? I mean, Uber has broken a little bit of the 50 period moving average. The best thing about this trade is if we take it, it's about 10 cents worth of risk. Give it a little bit more than that, up to 90s, and we'll have about 15 to 20 cents worth of risk here for Uber. So like I said, man, we've only traded 4, 5, 6 names, and I know I don't know how many Sharif and Adara traded. I know Neil's probably has traded more than that. But again, look for your opportunities. If the setups are there, it's probably worth it. I think this is a good opportunity here for Uber. Although it's positive on the day, we'd like to see it negative. A break of that should get to that level, and then we can play some nice downside moves. So again, a good day for us.
Kamala's brother-in-law is on the board at Uber, but also, I mean, like at the end of the day, like you always look for what are the trades for different political possibilities. So that could be an interesting one. Though Uber, that was trend to the downside. It's not like it's getting any kind of a bump off of that. I was just having a look at the ETH. And again, we just got this one today. Obviously, they're all just starting to trade today. The ETH is actually the mini. That's why you see it traded like 325, and it's got insane liquidity. I'm kind of more interested when we get the bigger ones out there. But Sebastian, don't mind having a quick look at CMG, Chipotle. I think they are also tomorrow after market on their report. But just wanted to quickly say, so when we're moving to the upside on Nvidia, we got out some flat on Micron. Now it's starting to work back in. So if it gets back down to the 114.40, we'll get more up. Been sitting on the bid for a while to take that. So it looks like it's still going to be good. Chipotle, Sebastian, as I said, that'll be tomorrow after market that they report. First time reporting post-split. I don't know how much that matters. I mean, a report's a report. The split doesn't necessarily change anything. What's interesting about Chipotle is sometimes the best shorts or retracement trades are the ones that trap longs. Yeah, it feels like a whole lot of longs got trapped on a 54 breakout. There was ample opportunity to get out, but Chipotle with one heck of a reversal today. And why it's worth pointing out is I wasn't looking at Chipotle this morning. This is also 54. So does this entire retracement off a failed break at 54, the same high the last 2 days, when it reclaims 54, it loses it, and then look at the trend into the downside. So you find a key level, and you're just willing to trade off that level. If you took the breakout, you won. If it comes back in, doesn't hold it, and turns into resistance, and then you win to the sell side. I actually like Chipotle as a stock. That's not going to be split adjusted. So I'm looking for, after these earnings, a spot to get in on Chipotle, just for myself, personally. I'm not buying it automatically. I just want to see the report, see where it trades, and then make a call on this. But a bit of a pullback here, giving up that 54 break. Those failed breakouts can be nasty on the way back.
All right, well, we're getting close to being in Uber, so you'll see that come through a little bit here. We did get some more Intel. Oh, Uber just filled. All right, so here's Uber trying to break. So I'm going to give Intel, we were kind of waiting for this to move up to the top here. So you can see my price completely changes now to being short 17s and 18s because we're putting on shares again. We're going to give this one an amazing 6 or 7 cents up to the upside right there. Okay, so here is Uber. We are now short this name. We just punched 74s. You can see not much has happened right now, including nothing happening. So if you want this trade, we're in it. You could beat me now by taking a couple pennies better. Let's wait to see what happens with Uber. We had said that we wanted to give it to the 50-period moving average, but we've seen it take the 50-period there. So it was 95. It went up to 02s right here, the 50-period. And again, it probably wasn't the 50-period at this time. 89s up to 95s. So I feel like 6 or 7 cents. So that's 85. So how about into 90s, maybe this area high break of 95. So we sort of thought that this could be a 20-cent or so trade again for us, but you never know. We could start taking some out a little bit earlier if it doesn't cooperate properly. We do have the bottom of the day here in the pre-market of being just 60s. So I feel like we could be doing pretty good if we can get something out there. If we start to drip down a little bit, but our stop will be 67.90. And if that breaks, that breaks. I think it's something to trade anyways here into the close. And like we said, we don't want to just throw out trades here. And it's about net preservation. I don't really care to win or lose on a trade if it's a good idea. Just want to make sure that we're making the right decisions here. We got family at home. So we're going to see if we can do that coming through. And remember, everybody is able to take their trades on their own. So we will take this Intel and wait to see if we can get a little more short at 19s into that trade as we'll wait for, again, another movement into the close. Thank you, John Van Sowers there. Gave us a couple likes there. Or Sanders. I have to find that name again. Visa reporting tonight again. We'll see if the consumer is cash strapped or not. But Visa right now underneath the 50-period moving average, not looking good. See, I don't like the way this name looks heading into earnings.
My Visa card gets plenty of use.
Your Visa
Amazon.
card. Dude, you don't even...
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it, but Amazon is right, man. Amazon kills it. Costco kills it. I get killed everywhere on my Visa card. The wife and I share the same card, so that should tell you enough about that. Yo, what's up? Thank you, Sebastian. I like this hat as well. But yeah, Visa, MasterCard. Actually, I actually have a MasterCard for Costco. Costco's MasterCard right there.
What are they, exclusively Master?
Yeah,
that's what their deal is with. Yeah.
Online, you can use Visa on Costco, but at the store, it's only MasterCard or debit or cashish. Adara?
I wouldn't use the cash anymore.
We're talking about this move down in Disney DIS earlier today, not seeing any news on this. About an hour ago, we did have the Wall Street Journal report and Benzinga re-reporting this here, that Ike Perlmutter, who was one of the largest individual shareholders in Disney and has been for quite some time, has now sold his entire stake in DIS. Ike Perlmutter did also work as well with Nelson Peltz to try to secure that seat in the proxy fight going down in April. Nelson Peltz did lose. We now have Ike Perlmutter selling his entire stake, as reported by the Wall Street Journal about an hour ago. So this could explain some of this move down in DIS, which is down 3% on the day. Just to contextualize that earlier move down, this news coming through about this stake sale from one of Disney's largest individual shareholders, guys.
All right. We just shorted Tesla. Yeah, 80.
Heck of a dump.
Yeah, go ahead. We just shorted Tesla 85s and just took a piece out as it came back into the 60s right there as we do short in front of VWAP. I'm going to play VWAP as an out right now. So there it is, a little short on Tesla and a quick out. VWAP is just right here, 249. So we're going to have to alter our stops on this one. Here it is, man. We just shorted 80s. It's in the 50s. 249.11s. And we'll get out of 100% of everything as we wait to see if Tesla can rock or roll right now. Let's go to the downside. Nice little short there, back inside for Tesla. Let's take something out on Uber. We are back into Intel, but I told you we'd make something happen here, and we're trying anyways with Tesla. So nice little move back in on that one. Yeah, let's go, buddy. There it is, Neil. That's another 40-cent winner for you on Tesla as it goes back into the downside. And guess what? We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. There is.
Another one.
And
another one.
And hopefully.
Another one.
Bye-bye, Tesla. Nice move to the downside right there. There's a quick, Neil, some people wait all day for 50 cents. That just took 30 seconds. So right there, a nice little move for us on Tesla. Hey, let's take that profit. Boom goes the dynamite. Know your trades. Know who you are. Make them. Run it. Spin it. There's another one.
There it is, another one out there for you. And possibly another one on Holo here. It just bounced off 60. We said wait for VWAP. And then VWAP's at 57. It bounced at 58.5. It held a higher low at 60. Going to be long off of the 60 level. If it breaks 58, jump out of the trade. Pretty simple story there on HOLO. Micron just got the reload at 65. It's at 70. So from one to the other, looks like it wants to make a test at that 140, 114.80. Now, we've been short basically the same price. We've been scalping out of it to the downside. Probably going to take some out when it gets into those 50s again. Inside range for that name. So Holo still holding ground. Micron still looking for the short. And I'm not done. I mean, ARM, it's 315. ARM might not break 171. Just because you paid for low case doesn't mean you have to use them. I'm not going to short the high of the day here. The idea would be it breaks the trend and falls apart or nothing. So I don't have that level 2 up. I'll probably just keep it up on a chart or something along those lines. But ARM, I don't have the order in. So we just got to reload in Micron. It's starting to press right back into the downside, down half a point. If it gets to VWAP, I think that needs to be a separate trade on MU. But we're going to scalp this one down into the 114 range. And as I said, Holo, probably not going to get to the high of the day again. But if it can just bounce off 60, get 66, 68, then we'll take it into that level.
Oh man, it's been a trip. There it is again. Right now, we'll drop down. I mean, we talk about this. Like, I'm not trying to, show like these are all the winners and blah blah blah. But like, this is like we keep saying it. Like, I don't want to be like, oh my God, we're putting up more winners here. But it's like these are the trades, right? We have to support what we're doing here at Real Trading. We have to support our #1 sponsor, and we have to show you that despite the numbers that I'm telling you behind, 1 in every 10 people might even graduate, might even be lower than that. But you can see right here, we're going to be 10-2 on our 12 days that we've traded so far this month. And this is all, you've seen all of the trades. So, I mean, it is what it is at some point. And I just want to show everybody that despite the odds being forever against you as a day trader, it is possible to make money for some. And just trying to show it every single day here on the show over and over and over again. And then look at this. Here go the TQs. Let's go. There's the reload right there. Keep it simple, man. Keep it as simple as damn possible, Neil. And there we go, man. We're starting to make moves again on Tesla. We're putting, I guess we can't go band for band around here. This is a move to the downside. 248 trying to break lower. Can we get from one band to the other down here on Tesla as it's going to the downside right now? Let's see if we can take something else out on that one. And by the way, remember Uber? I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, what are they putting in these drinks? Crack? We're just putting on some huge trades here at the end of the day. There goes Uber. It's a nice one there. Will be another one for us. Tesla, we just got these trades. I mean, we're happy. We're happy here today. We're putting on these positions for you, and right there, boom, boom, boom. It's going to be, like we said, man, another podium day there with Olympics coming up. This is kind of like day trading Olympics around here, right? And it's really nice when you're able to sort of hit your goals, hit your levels. It's like training. We talk about having all this experience here. It's like imagine training for 20 or 30 years and then being able to get to the Olympics. Well, I consider, every single day that we're here, a competition. It's you versus the market. And honestly, who's winning? You can look down at your
sport.
You can look down. Yeah, exactly. You can look down to your P&L, and it tells you who's winning. You are the market. So that's it, right? This is the only boss that you have. It's going to be the market, and it's a good feeling when it comes through. We'll take a little bit out here on Uber, and just enjoy it. In 40 minutes, you're going to see the best recap show, maybe of all time, as we have Brian Shannon coming through. We have Adara coming through. And we have Tesla, Google, Visa,
Enphase,
apparently Enphase,
well,
which we've now confirmed. But the big one's going to be Tesla, man.
Allegedly.
And I'm going to be excited for Google. It does. I mean, if it goes down, it goes down. But there it is, man. We only have 10% left. Or sorry, we didn't have our full position on Tesla there because it was an average in. So I'm not sure how much we have left. But we are out of the majority of this Tesla trade by far. It's probably about 15 to 20% left on this one. Big trade alert happening right there. Only one red name today, guys. It's going to be Snapchat. And we've talked about that, what we did right here. Glad to get out of it. It's at the low of the day. We did it on Snapchat. So far, so good here, man. And it's just been big. So thank you to everybody for supporting the show. What we should have done was get out of more intel, but instead we just crashed out on Tesla and the Qs. So really happy with the decisions that we've been making here today, but we did miss out on that intel. And remember what we said, man, we're up on, there goes intel. Yeah, bring it down in for that one. Qs, nice downside push. Tesla, Uber, all trying to dance, but realistically, market's not doing anything. We just picked a couple good names right there.
Yeah, it's like the NASDAQ went 15 points, maybe. So I just went right back to the well, like essentially shorting the same thing. We go right in. You don't break 114.80 here on Micron. So we short pretty much along the line, and it's just that same channel. So when that same wick happened, we pulled right back into the bottom of the range. Not necessarily all that complicated. So short it until we break, and then get out in front of support. Hold for the dream that we get down to like 114 even, 114.15. Again, just a relatively weak name that is trending into the downside that doesn't seem to want to break out past the resistance level. So every time it shows you that little bit of a fade, I'm just getting right back into it. Holo as well, just to go back over to the only other thing that I have on, which is Holo. So it bounced off 60s, didn't get any 60s. I got a bid here at 62. Kind of wanted the rest at the 60 even, didn't get them. I'm just going to pull off the bid. If it pulls down into 58, I got to look for a better price. Was able to get some out at 64 there, but I would like a better price if we're going to retest, maybe put in a higher low. Like something right at the 60 level would make some sense to me. It's already failed once at 70. You can see there, I had it in for about like a 1/4 cent hit. And so just for anyone out there, if you've never traded on the NASDAQ, fees on the NASDAQ are under $1 are essentially free. Like you don't get paid the rebate like you do if it's over $1. So under $1, in and out is very close to free. At least it is for us at Real Trading. You're not going to get a benefit to adding liquidity by much, and you're not going to pay a bunch by punching out. So it's actually really cheap to take breakout trades on penny stocks. As long as you don't lose a bunch of gross on it, it's more or less going to be a flat trade. But we're in Holo. I'd like a dip, maybe something closer to the 60 level if it can bounce to accommodate the 62s that we currently have. I do see Vegan Trader, CTNT is moving. I liked Holo's volume and the way it was moving a little bit better, but I'll check out CTNT and see what's going on there. To the desk with Adara.
Not seeing any news, not seeing any move on this here yet for the stock, but just be aware, update in this ongoing CrowdStrike saga. From that outage that we had on Friday, we now have Bloomberg reported, citing sources that CrowdStrike crash, the CRWD issues, actually played a large role in the Google and Wiz talks falling through. So interesting report here from Bloomberg. Again, not sure of the correlation here yet, but Bloomberg reporting that the CrowdStrike crash played a role in the Google and Wiz talks falling through. As we know, Wiz, according to an internal memo, has said no to the $23 billion possible acquisition by Google. So just something to keep an eye on and be aware of heading into Google's earnings tonight, guys.
Interesting. So I guess they think they're worth a little bit more than that. Good for them. And obviously that would have been, I think that's the kind of thing that made sense for Alphabet, like everyone was sort of saying. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting IPO, 100%. That's going to be a very, very interesting IPO when it does come. No idea. I don't think we heard any timeline at all when it came to that, but that's going to be very, very spicy. All right, so if I get a chance to reload, it'll be the same level on Micron. And now you're coming a little bit stronger into VWAP here on Tesla, and here comes the 20,000 level. So I got eyeballs on it on Amazon as we're coming right back into VWAP, but you're into resistance. And not going to get that high from before. VWAP's a moving target. It doesn't stay in the same place all day long, as I'm sure you guys can understand. But back into VWAP is, well, it's, like it's, if it's your first time, it's just going to follow, it's going to follow a loose trend all day long, of course, skewed by the amount of volume that it's doing. So it tends to flatten out during lunch when there's less volume, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. But VWAP, earlier in the day, you were shorting essentially in front of 250. Now it's 249. So it's a little bit different here on Tesla.
All right, send some kisses to my wife there in the chat. All righty. All right, so again, I'm just going to let this roll. I mean, if we break through 249, we're out of this one. I'm not going to reload it. We've already done the damage there on Tesla, and this is why sometimes it can benefit yourself as a scalper. And we actually talked about our different strategies for the midday. For the midday, I feel like is normal trading all the way through. It's just into the close, I feel a little more nervous about waiting for bigger moves because we don't know when these bigger moves are going to come through and how violent they could be, especially as we come into imbalances. But look at what a boring day this has been here on the NASDAQ. We had a couple good moves coming through, but in the afternoon, it hasn't been par for the course. I mean, there's been huge moves into the close, so we can expect those moves. That's fine. But see what just happened there? We get out now of Tesla. So that turned out to be a 30-cent hit there on our last piece. So completely fine again to do that. I feel like we did well on that Tesla trade, needless to say. And then look at this TQQQ reload right here. You're going to see us get out soon, but there it is, man. We take a piece at 07s, getting them out 90s, 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 back to the 50-period moving average. Let's now see if we go back up. But this is the problem with playing the ranges, right? We said that you're going to get stopped out. So when you're looking at a name like Tesla right there, that's a huge move. So happy to take it out when we go down, happy to take it out when you go back up because, again, into the close, these are some of the back and forth that we have to deal with. I mean, Intel could have taken advantage of that. Maybe we will if that could continue to dip down, but you're going to get wicked out, right? So our stop is 25. That came really close to getting us stopped out right now. I don't like playing these games where it's guessing which way the market's going to go. I want to have some definitive answers here. On Uber, we are out of, again, 75% of our trades. It did not break lower. I mean, we have this fill there at 65s, so we got a few 65 fills, but look, it hasn't broken. So we'll hold on to the last 25%. If it wants to come down, I don't have any more bids on Uber, so actually that's a lie. I have another bid at 64. If it comes to 64, we'll take it. We'll take that dime, because you know where our stop is now? It was always going to be the 50-period moving average, right? We talked about that. So there we go, 67.80. So we can't even lose now on Uber with that trade. So if you took this with me and you are at real trading, there it is again, man. We'll hit the sirens up. It's another one. It's another big trade for you. So I hope things are going well for everybody. We're just waiting for Intel to come to the downside right now. Possibly taking Tesla if it cuts back to 250. Maybe as a spot.
What's interesting is I said something at lunch. So you see me in and out of Tesla. I scalped a little bit for a winning trade and then got out when it broke VWAP. But I said this, it actually wasn't at lunchtime. It was on the morning show. If Tesla is breaking out above VWAP, I don't want to fight it above VWAP going into earnings. If Tesla wants to run, I'm not saying somebody knows something, but if Tesla wants to run and show strength breaking out, I don't want to stand out in front of it. I want to see confirmation that it's selling instead of just sitting at a level. So, we're going to be out. It worked well the first time it got to VWAP, maybe not so much the second time. I just tried to reload on Micron, but as you can see, it didn't really, it bounced to 68. And I was sitting right there at 69. Actually, the order was right at 70. I wasn't underneath this. I might have gotten filled if I was at 68 or 69, but it's starting to roll back into the downside. So we didn't pick this one up. In about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, we're going to get an early look on the imbalances. Not really expecting anything. Maybe you get something on big cap tech like we've been seeing over there on Nvidia. Almost on a daily basis, we've seen Nvidia. But now rolling to the downside is Micron. So this is the one short that's held pretty much the entire way. And Tesla, I think it was right to get out and fight this one if it wants to get there. We can take a shot at it about $1 later or 80 cents later, whichever one comes first. And if we break that 20,000, Amazon no longer doing much of anything. So Amazon doesn't seem to want to get above VWAP. It doesn't seem to want to move at all. Might have to back away from this. I still think it's a strong stock today, but if it ain't moving, it ain't moving.
Man, we feel real good, man. We could put our feet up, but we don't want to do that. We do, but we don't have enough. Again, Ram? Why did Fabian make this up? I don't even know what that means. All right, so there it goes, Uber, man. We picked this one out of nowhere. And you know what? Uber just becomes the 4th top stock here on Trader TV Live today, P&L-wise. Uber, right there, number 4. And we just put this on 20 minutes ago. It's a nice downside move for Uber. There it goes, man. As we continue now, 15 cents, just 15 cents in the money. Unbelievable. Some of these moves, we don't even have that many shares. It's been a tough day, as we said, on the market today, but still not too bad. We're going to have to now wait to see what happens here with Intel. And we just got a decent fill on Intel as well, right there, as we try to fill some time with some fun little, ready, Ram, with some fun little content, because we have, these are like, you know, maybe we have to retire these because these are like the Joe Biden aviators. Oh, these are not aviators. I actually should wear my Joe Biden aviators.
I actually have a pair in my car.
Yeah, I have a gray pair.
I only wear them in the Audi,
I like those ones polarized.
It's because like it's a Top Gun thing. If I'm going a little fast, I like to have the Top Gun aviator.
Ooh. Bye-bye TQQs. Bye-bye market. Bye-bye Intel. Hello, Adara.
Let's talk about some of these names in the S&P 500 making some larger moves. A few of these are going to be earnings related as we do enter earnings season, including GE Aerospace. This one's interesting. We're up about 6% in the day. They beat here in earnings per share, but they missed on sales, and their forward guidance also reflected this, lowering its guidance for sales, but actually raising its guidance for EPS for the coming quarter. They also reported an 18% year-over-year increase in total orders for the second quarter, so generally not a bad look for GE here. Next up, we have GM. This one initially gapping up, then ending up trading sharply lower. They beat across the board here for earnings. They also raised guidance across the board. But GM did have some concerning things to say. Their conference call, I guess, in the opinions of some investors, they did delay some of their EV launches, including their 2024 Buick EV and their EV pickup plant opening. Also had some issues with China. So GE down about 6% right now. Last but not least, this is an interesting one here. Carnival Cruise Lines, CCL. This one was already trading higher here. They had a truest price target increase from $17 to $20. Then at 10 a.m., it's announced that they get an order for 3 new ships for the Carnival Cruise Lines brand for a new class of vessel. They're going to start those orders in the late 2020s to early 2030s. So CCL, good look here for this one and a couple different positive catalysts, guys.
Oh, man.
Just quickly on GM. GM is teetering, but it did end up holding that 46 level all day long. It also currently holding the 50 period on the daily. So the earnings were great on GM across the board, and the conference call was not like. There was a bounce off 46. It was a battle at 46.5, eventually got to 47, and then held 46 even, but couldn't get past 46.5 the second time. So I feel like GM's a pretty solid day 2 potential play off of the 46 level and that 50 period moving average on the daily. But I'm done with it today. You can see like sideways action here for GM. Surprising, but you know what? Like you can read that report and everyone can say, hey, they beat here, they beat there, yada, yada, yada. None of that matters if the market opens up and sellers come into the stock. You can either wait for a good long or you can join the short. But if you try to just say, that was a good report, I'm buying it, well, then your day would have been a rough one on General Motors. I still own it in my personal account. I'm not really panicked about it, but don't love it when a good report is taken badly.
All right, we'll do a little thing here as we'll tweet this out again with our little salute, because there it is, man. Uber goes down into 55. I mean, again, this trade is about a 3-to-1, if not more than that now, on your risk to reward. We just put it on for you. And like I said, put some money in the pocket there. Like it's a real trade that we're taking on. So Uber right here, live traded at Trader TV Live. I'm just making this up right here as we go. We've already ready to go for our closing show today with Brian Shannon. I don't know if we'll get that tweet out. We probably won't, right, Ramin? Oh, it's already out. Oh, I must have just missed their message. All right, so nice move down. I know you did it. Nice little move down here for Uber. And again, a good one, right? I mean, we just put that on. Nice move back. We take another 55. I mean, there it goes. We were just like, hey, let's short this break. All right, that's that. And then we also reloaded Intel. So that's that. And we also reloaded the TQs. The thing we got stopped out on, though, was Tesla. All right. We'll do that. We are at the highest spot we've been at all day right now, guys. And we keep talking like this, but I mean, trying to give you trades that you could follow and try to make sense of them. So, I mean, I just look around and say, you know, we talk about that. I put that little Kendricks on, Not Like Us in there. But at the same time, you got to be able to figure out what you're doing and who you like to look at, what kind of stocks you like to watch, what styles you like, so on and so forth as we go back and forth here trading. We'll have Obi on tomorrow, so that should be a good one as well. So we're excited for that. TSL coming today, Google coming today, after hours. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you again for all the support right now. I'm going to take some more out here on TQQ, just heading into the close. We know that we do have a, whoopsies, I got, oh no, okay, good. I only got out of one. Oh, did I get out twice there? It doesn't matter. Nice little pullback in here now, 20 cents. Again, we'll just start to take some out on this. Like we said, we'd like to trade with a little more shares and be able to sort of get our way out of these names. And it's been really working out. And we talked about when you want to increase shares, when you don't want to increase shares, right? If you're sitting here not being able to put up any winners, you shouldn't use more shares. You should work on your strategies, right? And I think that we do a good job of that, especially in the midday show, explaining like, you know, all right, we're looking for this trade, we're looking for that trade, what's coming through, because not all the time are going to be maximum positions for you at all times. And honestly, if this Uber trade is a great one, and I'm glad we found it, but like I said, happy to put the numbers up on the board here, but at the same time, you know, we weren't super, you know, excited about this trade, but we are now because it's working out for us. So there goes Uber. Let's see if we can get some 48s in play. Those were our dark pool prints, so we didn't get any of those. We're sitting here. You could see there's other people joining us with all these random ones. We'll see if we can get a fill down there for Uber and make that, or not make that go, but if it hits us, that'll be good. Intel, did we get that? Whoopsies. Did we get that fill on Intel right there? Yes, no, yes. We did, I guess. I thought I had another bid down there on Intel. No, we must have got it. Yeah, so we got 2 07s and 08s right there. So the Intel bid, that was it. I didn't have a lower one, so we should be putting something else down there if we can. Uber, Tesla, we can have it. Okay. See what I'm saying? You know, so sometimes those plays will happen. We didn't really, it broke VWAP. We follow our rule, and we're happy about that one. I'm going to go over and retweet that tweet because we want to get as many people on.
Almost got to 250
as possible.
Yeah, and I think, well, yeah, I mean, it didn't go. Tesla just didn't get to 250,
No.
but I stand by it. I think, you know, one of the things that we say is like stick to your rules, right? And this morning I was like, I've seen Tesla do that before in front of earnings, where it goes into a rally, and then into 350, and you don't want to fight it. Maybe it pulls back right at the end, right before 4 o'clock, but if you don't follow your rules, bad things happen. Like I have, and it can be a losing trade. It could be not getting a winning trade. That works both ways. I'm just going to give you an example because it just came to my mind, right? Like what is a rule that I have about if a stock is, it doesn't matter whether it's your number one or number two idea. It's worse if it is. But if I like a retracement trade, the way I see it is this. And like a mean reversion, SSR trade, short of pop and drop, or dip and rip, whatever you want to call it. If I like it, like this 260 level on Crowd, if I like it for a dip and rip once, and I get wicked out, and it's on volume, and there's an explosive move in the other direction, then I don't want to be taking it the first time if I'm not willing to just take it the second time. And here it wasn't really that I didn't try to follow my rules. It's just that I wasn't quite fast enough, and that's going to happen to you from time to time. But that's an example of it. So if Tesla ends up falling $3 from here, which is entirely possible because 246 is support and 49 is VWAP, it'll be disappointing. But there's still a tiny amount of time left that if it pops back into VWAP and fails again, there could still be one more trade. You got about 21 minutes to go before the close. Generally speaking, if it's 350 or 349, I don't want it, but there's still time for it to make this move, bounce maybe off 48 even, and get another crack at this over there on Tesla. Micron, I don't know if there's going to be another shot back up at the same level. It just tried to get through 140, 114 and a half, and then went right back into the low. So I think this could just be trend down. I've canceled all orders that I have on, still have a stop order over there, on ARM. As I said, ARM wants none of that smoke. It's at the 171. This is enticing. We still have some time left. When I got up to just, we got up a second ago, ARM was still at the 172. ARM might still lose this support level. Still some time here. Okay. ARM, it's not exactly 171. This bottom is 170, 170.80 or so, but it's close enough to it. So all I have is Micron. ARM looking like it actually might do this breakdown here. And then VWAP, obvious target if it break this support on ARM.
Do a damn thing. Yeah, go for it on ARM, just like we did there on Uber. And again, we probably put on one of the biggest notional positions there for Uber that I've had in a while on that break, because we only had a little bit of leeway on that one. We were going to give it about that 10 cents. We talked about that play, and now obviously it's 30 cents in the money. So it continues to make moves to that downside. And then again, like we just mentioned, we're bearish here. We've already put these trades on. A lot of levels came into play right now again for us. So there it is, man. It's going to be just a really, oh man. We're now getting okay. Okay, Neil. We are starting to go now. As we get excited, I ran into Obi in the back. I told him, I said, "Are you ready for tomorrow, my guy? Because we're gonna bring some heat there tomorrow." So here we go, man. Huge move coming in through the TQQs. And again, yeah, Tesla, we gave that up, but we can't hit everything. Absolutely. Look at this name, Neil. Wow. There it goes again. Intel coming back in. Like, honestly, if my wife's watching, go buy as many lottery tickets as you possibly can. All these trades that we are putting on for you, not as many as you possibly can. Wrong use of words right there. But here he comes in. Nice move to the downside there. As we reloaded it, we reloaded a decent position there on Intel. Why not? Right there. It is going to be our #1 name right now. And there it goes right there. Intel moves right up the leaderboard again as far as the top name for us. So boom, bye-bye Intel. There we go. We just have to remain in our zone. And like we said, we can go over all of them right here, all these sticky notes, all of this stuff right here that we're going through. This is what's been paying out right here, following the rules, being patient. And there it goes right now. Nice afternoon here for whoever's trading with me and had some of these positions. So far, so good there. Uber now 35 cents. TQ's 40 cents. Tesla, I mean, if you got it, great. We had it. That was a good trade there. And then Intel really might be the banger of the afternoon, honestly. It seems like probably Uber will be, or the TQs, but this is a great trade there. And I know you have Micron as well. I hope that's working out for you.
It is, but ARM won't break. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have it. Or you do have, no, you don't have ARM yet.
No, so it's not breaking the level.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, these guys right here see that we've got some decent trades on. So if they break, they break. Right there, join us live this afternoon. But man, wow, what a good move down here for the TQQs. We talked about this. This is the #1 traded name here at Trader TV Live. Yeah, Neil could probably talk for a minute or two.
Yeah, go ahead, Refrain. No worries. Like I said, ARM, the best part about it, and I'm going to get to a day trader cut quote here that I'm a huge fan of. The best thing about trading is it's like in basketball. If you don't like the shot, then you can pass the rock around, you can swing it, you can create a better move on a play. You can just be patient, right? You don't have a shot clock. That's the other thing in trading. Like 4 o'clock could hit, and if ARM never breaks, I never trade ARM. I paid, we pay 1/8 of 1 cent per share for locates on ARM. So the fact that I paid for it this morning and never took a short on it, as far as I'm concerned, that's not a bad thing because it was trend up all day and now it's support at 171. I suppose I could have, for reasons unknown, been short at $173. But when I look at it here, it doesn't look bad. Resistance into support. Support into resistance. But anytime I see a wick like that 151 bounce play, I'm thinking it's pretty bullish. And I don't want to, when something does that, pulls right back into a prior big level, look at the wick, look at the rejection, now it's breaking out. I think that's a pretty bullish move, and I want confirmation. I want it selling when it's losing something, not when it's running into me. So the quote is, Day Trader Cut loves this one. Favorite rule that I like to say almost every single day, it's okay to be wrong, but it's not okay to stay wrong. And what's cool about that is you define when you get into a trade or before you get into a trade what is wrong for you. Right, sometimes you might have a trade, and I'm just going to use ARM as an example here. You might short it up here and give it 50 cents off the top. It could break 71, and there's only 15 minutes left in the day, and I use a 30-cent stop. Who knows? Everything is going to be different for yourself. For Micron in here, we're giving it into that 80 level. Most of our shorts were in the 65 range. We're able to get some at 70. We didn't get this last reload, so that was a bit of a mistake. But wrong was if it broke this high, right? So you define what wrong is, and then if it breaks that, you get out. And if it breaks down, you end up being able to hold. But it's 344. There was nothing exciting on the early look imbalances unless you're into Baxter, which is a 2 million to the buy side. We'll check back in at 350. But we just tapped the 114 level on Micron, so my trail is going to be in now. There's a seller at 114.20 anyways, and that is this spot right here. So if it regains 114.20, I'm jumping out. Don't think we'll see Tesla at VWAP again at this point. Although it's earnings day, anything could happen.
Keep going, my guy.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was just, let me just get the order in there. I just forgot. You have to cancel if you've got a stop order. We have a stop order here, Real Trading. I love all of our stops. One of them's like get out of 100% of your position. And that one, you can only have it out once, right? So if I have a stop at 80, I have to double check. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I have to clear my order board. But it just tagged that 114.21. So I put it in. We trailed it out for you. It bounced there. Was willing to give it some room to get to 350. But that's the idea. And we went back to the well almost as many times as we could. I think there was, as I said, there was a missed opportunity to get it back in there. Now the eyeballs are going to be on, okay, we're not going to get Tesla at VWAP again. But the eyeballs are going to be on Tesla anyways. Despite the fact that we're probably not going to get another crack at this one at VWAP, you only needed to hit it once or twice off of this level, and you would have been absolutely good. Really, the level held like here, that wasn't VWAP at all, but it was 250, and then it was VWAP after the fact. And the best, actually the trade that I liked the most on Tesla was getting out of Dodge on this move. So I had this at 11.15 at 249. And do you know why I had it at 249? Because it's 249. And it started to work. I'm like, okay, this is looking pretty good. Then I realized how strong that move is. No, just get out flat. And that was a flat trade for me. We took a little bit of profit. Then the rest we got out for a loss. And then we waited for it to get into VWAP. Sometimes you just have to be a little bit more patient. Maybe even more patient than you would expect. So here's a push. If Tesla gets to VWAP, I don't know if there's going to be enough time here. Only 3 minutes to imbalances.
Wow, that Tesla, man. All right, so again, it's a good day again here today, as you guys can see. We just got out of some TQQs as the market just plunged right down to the bottom. I mean, I mean, these have just been really good trades here. I can't really talk too much about the same trades over and over and over again. This is just what I'm doing, holding the shorts. You guys came here and you were like, oh my God, this guy's all short. Here's my good friend. We talked about it. There's the bear. It breaks down, and we just put money in our pocket right here. So yeah, been a real good day trading, and happy to be short right now. And I just want to say, have this in your bag. Like we were long queues here, short queues now. Being able to, again, we were long Nvidia, get out. I mean, now it's looking like it's not, but that's getting out, right? Get out when you maybe see that there's some problems. We got out of Palantir as well. Palantir is going to be PL number 2. PL number 1 on the show today will be Nvidia. Number 2 will be, there it is. It's right here, right now. It's the TQs just took over number 2. They took it away from Palantir. How dare you? Right there, Palantir is a good one. Uber will be pulling up, I guess, in 4th. We did have another name that was big, which was Intel as well. But that name, we didn't make as much on this as we should have. We did put on some shares right there and basically doubled our net on the day just on this. But again, not as many shares as we had here. This was a little bit of a sweat job into the open. But yeah, we'll end the day at our highest spot we've been at right here. And again, I'm never going to get sick of looking at that. Whoops, right there. See you later. And there we go. Probably went top cheese right there. So yeah, it's going to be a good one here. And tonight, I'll show you some baseball highlights of what she does on the diamond there. I actually question with my wife and say she's probably a better ball player than she is hockey. But yeah, you'll know. Hopefully, your daughter will be quite the athlete as well, and you'll be able to see just how special some of these kids are, and it's amazing.
It's easy to tell for us. I think in terms of it's more what she likes and doesn't like. Like my aunt was like, "Oh my goodness, she's so dexterous," and like she thinks she's gonna be a gymnast.
Right.
I'm like, yes, she has all the skills to be good in gymnastics, but I can watch her at gymnastics and see how much more she loves baseball and running. Everything she does in gymnastics, she does it fast. she doesn't like doing things slowly, my daughter. And in gymnastics, it is very controlled, and you're not running across the balance beam. She does all the skills as fast as she can, which, when you're good, can be a good thing. But that's why I think she's going to be in track and field. But we'll see. My wife and I both ran track, so that would be low-hanging fruit. We just had a poll up there, and I'm going to put my answer in there in a quick little second. But we have 30 seconds until the imbalances come out. Obviously, most interesting if somehow Tesla or Google have imbalances, but there's no guarantees whatsoever. A lot of times, you're not even going to see an imbalance on an earnings day, but we're going to get those in about 20 seconds. The poll is simply who will have the biggest move. Who will have the biggest move? Tesla beat, Tesla miss. Google beat, Google miss. So, I don't know. It's going to be Google. Tesla's going to have a bigger move than Google. I'll go for Tesla beat. 47% tend to agree. That's the poll here. There you can see it. So have fun with it. But the imbalances just dropped. Apple, 1.4 million to buy. That's not that big. Nvidia, 860,000 to the sell side. That's kind of mixed. And nothing else over a million except for Enbridge, which I promise you is going to pair off because it always does.
Yeah.
That's kind of a nothing burger for the imbalances there. Apple, that's not big enough for Apple.
I never noticed what Adara writes, and let me see what she wrote in today. For that 840 million to buy. So, yeah, a little bit of a buy imbalance. I haven't even looked at them yet. Let me do that quickly. Right here, we're too busy managing the positions, but we're almost out of everything, as you guys know, man. Yeah, Apple buy. Oh, we just got out of some more Uber there at 45s as that's come back in. I mean, Intel, thank you very much. Thank you. Come again on Intel. We've already talked about Intel whispers in the building again. We'll see about it tomorrow, but that's going to be an interesting one. TQ's making moves down, Uber making moves down. So far, so good here. We might as well take another bid here on the TQQs. Why not? Let's see if we can get a 73 out right now as we just continue to get in and out. Tonight's recap show will not be going too much later than 4:30. Oh, yeah, I meant to check. This won't stay here, will it? Meant to check out what the weather was like because there was a opportunity for rain coming through. It might be different in Brampton there. But
yeah, you never know. I don't like it when the kids get rained out.
No rain.
Because,
so no rain right now.
You know, soccer they'll play rain or shine. Baseball, you know how it is with baseball. It's one of those sports where, you know, if the field's no good, they're not going to play. And I'll tell you right now, the fields where I am that they play, it's a smaller league. They're not any good at all. They got absolutely no chance. But William Knight, appreciate it. Heptathlon, I would be all for it. My biggest regret. In high school, I played a lot of sports, but I should have tried the decathlon because I was a jumper, sprinter, hurdler, and I ran 1,500 in cross country. So I pretty much did everything. There's another fly. I pretty much did everything and never tried it. And I think it's such a ridiculous challenge that it would be a lot of fun to be able to do. So bit of a nothing burger here with these imbalances. I don't think we'll be trading any Tesla. VWAP trade probably going to be done. But I love when the Olympics come around. To me, the decathlete, whoever wins that is the best athlete at the Olympics, and get ready for that to be a Canadian this year, straight up. Canadians could actually win 2 medals in the decathlon, in the men's decathlon. We have 2 top guys. Go Canada.
Yeah, go Canada. It should be a big one.
That guy's like 6'7". He should play basketball. God.
Yeah. Why waste your time with the decathlon? But, you know, there's some funding there. I don't know if in Canada if there is or not. But you can get an education.
Well, he's French.
So. Oh, he's French. Okay.
It's not a lot of French, like... you get some basketball players, but he can play baseball too. But out there in Quebec, not as many athletes go from there to D1 in the States. You get most of the scholarships are in the English parts of Canada for obvious reasons. So a lot of the top French athletes, they'll stay in Quebec, which, you know, you're not going to have the same football, basketball, baseball here. Oh, basketball's not that bad now.
Yeah, our high school, I just don't want everyone to get twisted between our high school sports and the high school sports that are actually down there in the United States. We don't even have...
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, like the track that we run on our field is gravel, you know what I'm saying?
Track?
What track? That's what I'm saying.
Dude, my university rolled out...
Well, I'm talking about high school, though.
I know, my university, we rolled out a mat.
Right.
In an upstairs for indoor track and field, for indoor season. We didn't have an indoor track at our school. We rolled them out, you ran, you bounced off it. And my coach was the Olympic Canadian coach for Team Canada at Sydney. And when he was coaching university...
And you didn't make the Olympics, man? What the hell's wrong with you?
What do I look like, man? Like, look at me. Like, you can do this. I'm not that. The guys that were... I was fast for track and field, but all the guys that beat me had something in common. They're just a lot stronger. And you got to be able to apply a force to track. I'm very fast, but I did not have the level of power required, and I ain't taking no steroids, man.
It's too bad you tore your
that's for damn
Achilles, man, because I still wanted to see that Fahad thing go down.
It'll be even more epic if I race him coming off the Achilles surgery.
Yes.
And if he shows up again and I am not in a cast and I can actually run, I will still race Fahad.
That'd be great.
The guy thought he could beat Usain Bolt, and he said that with a straight.
I know.
He said that with a straight face.
He is pretty no, he just said with proper training, he thinks he could beat Usain. Okay, by the way, Google right now.
Google is tanking.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. You guys talked about hey, what are we doing into earnings here, right? And I was like, you know what? Chill, Winston. Because right now, wow, there we go, Lens. Hit that sirens up right here. Wow, I mean, what Adara, man, we're just going insane over here on the trading side of things right now, Adara. There we go. It's a nice move down. Let's see if we can get those 90s on Intel. And there it is. If we can get them, we'd be pretty happy with that play as we wipe through 90 right there and get it. And there it goes right there. Let's go. That is the trade right there for us. 0 LFT right now. 0 LFT means we are at, it's always good when it's 355. You have no more pending orders. Check that, make sure I don't. Well, all my stops I got to cancel because none of them triggered. That's also a very good sign. If you ever never have your stops triggered, that's always good. So right there, we get filled up all the way to the downside. And just to end the day, I saw some people on the chat, why are we short? I mean, I tried to explain it to you why I was short. There's Intel, boom, goes the dynamite. That was a good short. TQs rip up there. Now oopsies, I got to cancel that. Number 2 here. TQs almost takes out, it's having an error fetching my blotter. Okay, so there it is. Tesla, good trade there as that comes back down as well. Nvidia, good trading there. We left that one alone. Uber, come on. Mamma mia, that was a good trade there. And then this is the one I'm trying to show everybody. This name, the TQs, what a collapse right there into the close. We're out of everything right there, but it does fall on its face into that finish. So, hey, man, enjoy your talk with the surgeon tomorrow. Obviously, I hope that goes well. I'm sure it will. And I hope you get that brand new cast
I feel like
that you're looking for.
If there was a complication or was infected, I'm pretty sure I would
some
feel
kind
it.
Of pain right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know it's all good because I haven't taken pain medication for, what day is today? Tuesday? It's been almost a week since I had to take pain meds. It's just a matter of getting me in a cast that's better than the one I'm in. I'm not asking for much, man. Put me in a cast that doesn't suck. And I'll be a happy camper there. But with a couple of minutes to go, I didn't point this out, and I should have. I didn't zoom out to give you the full picture on Micron, but this is 114 all the way across. There's been a few tiny little breaks of that level, but for the last week or so, or half a week, you've been holding the same line on Micron. So yes, it is weak, but there's a potential flat bottom break on Micron. Although if it does it tomorrow, then I won't have the trade. I don't own any shares of this in my long-term account. If it does make the break, the 200 period moving average is exactly at $100, maybe a cent or two away. I am kind of hoping that this move happens for a breakdown. It's a lot of potential for consolidation break to the downside. And if you like ideas like that, then that's what we're here for. Just show you ideas, show you trades, take them. We'll miss some, like Crowdstrike. Everyone's like, oh, Crowdstrike was so great. Thanks for the call, Neil. I lost on Crowdstrike long today. I'm that guy today, but it's all good. You just come back the next day and see what you can do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you want to be in the chat, we have a lot of conversation with traders asking questions, and then we try to respond to them where we can, when we can. You do have to be a subscriber to be in the chat for the show. So if you want to engage with us anytime, all you got to do is hit that sub. And then you're going to see you'll have access to it like some of the viewers that are regulars. We appreciate all of you. Only 2 minutes to go, but only 2 minutes to go for the market. Market recap's going to be on just a couple of earnings plays today. Tesla, Alphabet, Enphase, a couple of credit card companies. So it should be a very good one. And, of course, Brian, Shannon, Sean, and Adara are going to be killing it up there. It's always good. Look, we love when Brian Shannon is on all times. But during earnings season, it's a little bit, it's always special because you get those big levels that you can trade off of oftentimes for those earnings. And then they give you big time moves because that's what moves stocks. We love earnings season for a reason.
There we go. Like if I was buying Google right now, I would be buying it because it's right back into its pre-market areas right there as a nice little dump off there for Google heading into earnings. And then, of course, you have Tesla as well. I'm going to flip over and get over to that other side. But there it is right there, Tesla. Everything coming back in, and I mean, we just held the short, right? Look at this. Only short Uber since noon or since 10, 11 o'clock. Nice trades there. Intel, I mean, let's go again on Intel. Like top to bottom, Neil, top to bottom. So right there, back-to-back jacks there on Tesla or on Intel. Can't do any better on that one. The TQs, again, longs, bottoms, not to tops, but to there again, and then top to bottom again here in the afternoon. So, all right, man, join me in just a couple minutes. I have now logged out, as you can clearly see, and we will go back over to the desk and leave it with Neil. Good luck tomorrow.
I think we expect Google first.
I don't know if it was Tesla or not, but now Ramin,
yeah, it's
Ramin,
so
my screen is on and
30
it says
seconds.
Stream Deck.
30 seconds to go. We are expecting Alphabet first, and then Google. Sorry, Alphabet first, and then Tesla potentially at 4:05. So that would be the order of operations. Doesn't mean it's going to pop or drop right away. I just remember that. Oh, I'm hitting the countdown, and it should be dead on there, and hopefully it doesn't do that thing where it screws up. But in 5, oh, it just did. In 4, 3, 2, 1, and ring it, Adara. Okay, the market's closed. The NASDAQ ends up down. Obviously, the ES following along with it, only down 0.4 and 0.2%, but you saw the drop out there in Alphabet right at the end of the day. Still no movement on it just yet. Want to give a big shout out to Ramin one more time. Ramin manning the ones and twos all by yourself and doing a great job of it. Can't thank you enough. You're knocking it out of the park there, Ramin. And thank you for those chips yesterday as well. Shout out to both the professor and Adara doing a great job on that midday show. As always, you know what time it is, man. And just to answer the question, Ari Pages, I'm a chocolate ice cream guy, but my favorite is rum and raisin. I don't know why you're asking me that, but I love ice cream. I love rum and raisin. We love some earnings season. We're going to have a bunch. Alphabet, still no movement just yet. Alphabet, Google, Enphase. Those are the big three as far as I'm concerned. Most of you probably concerned about those big two. And we'll have those and more trades to review and Brian Shannon with the market recap show up at the desk. We've got Adara, we've got Sean, we've got earnings seasons. Oh boy.
Here we go, everybody. Welcome to the party, man. It's big time earnings week right now, and we start today, man. We are now out right here with Texas Instruments. Let's see what's going on. You guys want live earnings? How about this brand new right here? Live play 198 up to 205. We'll wait to get Texas Instruments earnings. They are now out as we bounce around. Here's also a live level 2. We're going to show you here as well today. This is Texas Instruments right now. 196 by 202. Let's figure that out right now as we get back and forth to the upside. We do wait for Google. We do wait for Tesla. I've got Adara. What's up, Adara? When she gets the numbers, we'll have them for you right there. There it is, 203, starting to go higher. It's Texas Instruments right now, getting back to Greensville or trying to. Nice move upside for TXN. Adara, what are those numbers looking like?
So TXN, we did have a beat here for earnings per share coming in for Q2, $1.22 versus the estimate of $1.17. We did have a bit, though, of a revenue miss here coming in. Where did this go? There's the revenue Q story, guys. Still lots of numbers. Q2 revenue, $3.82 billion versus the estimate of $3.823 billion. So very mild revenue miss there. EPS beat, though, for Texas Instruments. Apparently Google out, so I'm going to take a look at those numbers here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's out or not.
I'm not seeing anything here. Oh, Google just coming in.
Yep.
Give me a moment to parse through these numbers here as they're coming.
We'll get it figured out. Google was just up there to 185. Google right now just bouncing around right now. Texas Instruments 204, 205. Let's go over to Google quickly on a live screen right here. 183 for Google, 184 for Google. Let's see. There it goes, Google. All right, there we go. It's a nice move back up to the upside. Bang, goes Google, and then right back down. So you can see this is why trading earnings is a widowmaker. We've talked about that. I was like, Sharif, what are you doing trading earnings, my guy? There it is. Nice move up for Google to 185 and a downside move to 176 right now. Alphabet numbers are out, $1.89 versus $1.84. So it looks like a beat on Google. We'll find out about what their guide is. Revenue right now, $84.72 billion versus $84.2. Looks like it's a beat all around for Google. And remember, our show is brought to you by Benzinga, and this is the pro platform right here. 189 beat. It's all green versus 185. 84.7 versus 84.2. It looks like a beat all around, Adara, but the guide must be a problem as down goes Google right now.
Yeah, not seeing the guide here yet coming through in my end anyway. Quarterly Google ad revenue, though, also a beat, 64.61 bill versus the estimate of 64.418 bill. They also announced a 20-cent cash dividend to be paid on September 16th, 2024. Waiting for the guidance. Sometimes it takes a while for this to come in. Pardon?
Tesla's out.
Tesla's out. Okay, Tesla's early here.
Yeah, everything's coming out early, man. We thought Tesla might be 410, but there goes Tesla
goodness.
right now, hitting the fail to the downside right now. 52 cents, hearing into my ear, 62 cents maybe for the adjusted number for Tesla. So could have been a bad report early. We'll wait to see where it comes down to the downside. But if you can see this, we talked about this earlier on Tesla, man. I mean, where would this name go? We had a nice bottom here at 235 and a top at 270. Is it going to trade in the middle here for Tesla? Might not be out yet there for Tesla.
For TSLA.
Okay, just quickly, I just want to check on Google just real quickly, just to go back, because again, another big name, GOOGL, kind of coming in right now. Nice downside take of 175. Now upside here for Google. Shares of Tesla initially falling down, now trying to bounce upside. Give us those numbers, Adara.
Yeah, so we did have a miss for EPS coming in here. 52 cents for adjusted EPS versus the estimate of 62 cents. Non-adjusted, though, 42 cents versus the estimate of 62 cents. That being said, they did beat here on Q2 revenue, $25.5 billion versus the estimate of $24.773 billion. That is a beat. They are, though, guiding that their 2024 vehicle volume growth rate may be, quote, notably lower than the growth rate achieved in 2023, though they did also note that they're seeing their, quote, global EV penetration return from previous times that they're seeing looking for a bit of an increase here in production after having a sequential decline. So kind of mixed guidance, EPS miss, revenue beat for the top and bottom line numbers, guys.
Yeah, we can see right here on the Benzinga Pro platform. We'll try to zoom in maybe a little bit right here. There's Tesla EPS, 52 cents, misses the 62 cents. And then there it is right there, beating on sales as well. So we'll find out about that. What's this? Google advertising revenue, 64.61. We have Enphase. Enphase is out right there. Q2 adjusted 43 cents, misses 48. Misses on revenue as well. So let's have a quick look at what's happening right there. There's Tesla right now heading to the downside. Let's see if that's going. Only 3% there for Tesla as we're getting real trading downside right there. Quickly on Google, see what that's doing. Google's now up. All right, let's go. There goes Google up to 183, 184. Nice downside move. Then right back for Google. We'll hear what they're going to talk about on their chat, on their call. There's Enphase. We just went over negative numbers, okay? But the thing is that we don't know what's up with this name. Enphase, a nice move up to 113. I thought it was a double miss all around there. Let me just wait to see. There's Google Live Level 2. There's no other show that's going to show you a live Level 2. Give me a break right now. You're now rocking with the best of us right now. There's Enphase, Adara, 107 to 108. Mattel also out right now. Kill him with Enphase, Adara. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll kill him with Enphase. So there was one beat here worth noting, and it was going to be their Q2 adjusted operating income, $61.1 million versus the estimate of $37.8 million. So that is actually quite a hearty beat. But as Sean said, they did miss on revenue, $303.5 million versus the estimate of $309.9 million. They also missed here for earnings per share. On an adjusted basis, 43 cents versus the estimate of 48 cents. I can get those Visa numbers coming through as well if you'd like, or Mattel, as we wait for these. Visa coming in here as a slight revenue beat, 8.9 bill versus the estimate of 8.89 bill. And their adjusted net income, slight miss, $4.9 billion versus the estimate of $4.903 billion. I can get Mattel for you too, but those are
no worries. Good job there. I know it's a busy time right here as we go.
So numbers coming through.
There's a lot of numbers coming through. There's Visa. Visa does make that downside move right now. Visa trying to get lower here, coming in, but Visa's been a little bit sick under the 200 period, so we'll definitely check that out. Everyone wants to know about what is Tesla doing. Now it's coming right back up to the upside, but check out this Tesla. Still right here, man, only 3% move right now for Tesla. So a little disappointing. What I'm seeing here on the Benzinga Pro platform is right here. Let's talk about this. Tesla says 2024, the growth rates of energy storage deployments and revenue, in their energy generation and storage business should outpace the automotive business. We like that growth. Growth in a new spot right now for Tesla. I would love to hook up one of those little machines. Get off that grid right there. Tesla right there. Growth of energy storage deployments expecting to outpace that business. Tesla also says right here, vehicle volume growth lower in 2024 than 2023 due to launch of next generation vehicles such as, Adara, the
Model 2.
Cybertruck. So right there, we'll see if they have any sales on that one. Plus, right, because they didn't release the Model 2 yet.
Well, yeah.
So they'll be looking forward to that. It's probably spending a little bit of money on developing that as well. So we'll see there. I thought the Cybertruck was pretty good. Let's just see what's happening right here with
Yeah,
the
they said
stock.
the Cybertruck was good. They're like tripling production or something sequentially.
So let's have a quick look at a live level 2 there of Tesla, 241 and heading a little bit lower. Look at this short on Tesla, Dara. We were short all afternoon on Tesla. Short, short, short. Brendan, why can't I hold shares into the aftermarket? Maybe we should have. Oh yeah, it's earnings. It's random. Look at this, Ramin. Look at these shorts we had. Those purple ticks are shorts. As it comes back in, there goes Tesla back down to the downside. Let's just quickly check out what Google's doing. Google's getting, Tesla's getting worse and worse, but look at Google. Google's like, hold my beer. Was it even earnings season? Google right now flat. Who would have thought Google was flat? Expected 6% move. But guys, Tesla continuing to pull lower right now following their Q2 earnings report. It's Tesla. It's downside right now for that name. We will have Brian Shannon coming up real quick. Just a quick look at the charts now. End phase, nice move up, back up to 110. We're just looking at 1 minute chart, so we'll keep on doing that one. People not liking Tesla. Let's see what happens with Visa. Visa, comme ci, comme ça.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit in the middle there. Shout out to our French friends over there. But you know what else we got? We got another one coming through. It's Capital One right now. So we got some good reports from the banks. Looks like Capital One wants to tick a little bit lower right now. Tesla plans for new vehicles in, this is a good story here, is it not? Tesla plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models, as we mentioned about that number 2 there, remain on track for full production start of first half of 2025. So first half of 2025, we'll see if that's a push out or not. What do they like about all this? As they keep going for Tesla, it keeps on going lower and lower. Look at the daily on Tesla. We are getting close. I'm nervous for a 235 break, Adara. Can we get back into the 200 period moving average? Like Barack says, yes, we can. Right there, as that's trying to go back to the downside. For those of us in Canada, we can look at CNI, Canadian National Rail. Right now is out. And probably I'll just say maybe a boring one, but that's trying to get down to the downside as well. Big earnings today.
Yeah, how is CNI doing more than Google? That's wild. I think it is worth noting here for COF, there was a pretty big EPS miss here for Q2, $1.38, estimate of $3.29. That is almost a $2 beat here, or miss here, sorry, for EPS for Capital One. The revenue, though, was also a miss, $9.5 billion versus the estimate of $9.57 billion. One more earnings name to come up at 9:20, or sorry, not at 9:20, 4:20 today. It's going to be recent BRKB purchase Chubb. CB will be coming out at 4:20, so we'll have eyes on that as well.
Yeah, good little look there as we get pretty busy right now during this time. And, make sure you join us every single day at this time, as Trader TV Live will do the best market recap show you can find. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. These are live earnings as they're dropping here on the Benzinga Pro platform. We have them. We're going over them all. And we will still go over some sectors. I mean, it was a pretty big day for the market today. Not really, it was pretty flat, right? But we'll go over some of the different sectors that we're moving around, including K-Web, some movement there in China coming through. We had another negative day, unfortunately, for U.S. oil there today, as oil continues some downside pushes right here. As I see, we get Brian Shannon ready to go oil downside. Wheat continues to go down for some reason. I know Ramin's busy over here. Maybe show my screen and just flip it over, and I'll go over a few things right now. XBI today, biotech upside right there. MSOS, as we maybe get Puff passing from Kamala. What does she feel about the marijuana space? And I know that she was relatively positive it as VP. Let's see if that does change anything. A lot of it going to depend on who the running mate is, apparently, there for Kamala Harris. Gold upside today, but kind of flat. And this is what I was talking about with the NASDAQ. Relatively a meh day. Right now down a little bit, but I feel like when we closed, it was pretty muted for the day. And you can see what's been happening here in the after hours for the NASDAQ. What goes up must come down, and it seems like it's doing a little bit of both. Let's just go over to one of our big plays here. Google. I mean, Google today, we didn't really trade it on the show, but you could see it's just bouncing around. I would have to say, let's drop this over to a 3-minute chart. Pretty boring. If we zoom back out a little bit here, you can see where we're trading right now. It's going to be this green marker moving around. So kind of just gives back to where we were yesterday at 180.50. So not a crazy move at all for Google here into the aftermarket as we are now closed in the open. And there it is right now, 180 and change for Google. The big name that all of us want to look at is Tesla. And right now, this is dropping back as well. And if we go to a little bit of a longer time frame for Tesla, 30-minute, here's that level that we're talking about. Have we been down here before? Yes, we have. Can it hold? We're about to see. It's going to be interesting. Will Elon Musk be on the conference call or not? Is there going to be a tweet coming out where he clarifies something? Down 5%. The expected move was it 8 or 9% or so for Tesla? So not a huge move coming through here, but again, up to support and resistance levels. Very, very key for Tesla. Looks like it's going to get hit again. Those of you that said, and I don't know if Neil put the curse on this or not, but he was saying upside would have been the big move for Tesla, but it looks like downside right now coming through to play for that one. Again, not sure. We did sell some at 265. You're always taking a shot in the dark here when you're trying to guess earnings. I feel like one person that might have thought there could have been negative earnings is Brian Shannon. And you know what? He's ready to go. So why wonder what he's saying? Let's go ask the man. It's Brian. Let's go. All right. Hi, Mr. Shannon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you and Adara?
Me and Adara are doing quite well. Adara, how was your day today?
My day was good. Trading was but my day was good. How about you?
Not too bad, thank you. All right, let's go. We only have one. We're short on. It's only Ramin flipping the switches today, so cameras might be a little slow, but she's doing a fantastic job. Yeah, you're doing great. What are we talking about? All right, Brian, hey, how are you? Let's get this show started right now. All right, we just had basically the start of big tech earnings. We had Spotify this morning, which was a great move up, and maybe we could talk about that. I don't know if you were looking at Spotify, but that name, a little different than some of the names we're seeing right now. Huge moves up, breaks the high there for Spotify, continues a nice move up 11 and change percentage points right there for Spotify. You like names when they sort of wind up on an island here off earnings?
I do. It depends on how they're going to respond the next few days. The important thing is to start an anchor right at today's gap. And you can see, if you're looking at my screen, that we were stuck below that VWAP all day. Doesn't mean that it's going to stay below there. But, if we can recapture that and then in the next couple days show that VWAP holds its support, then I think you're likely to see higher prices, and then you've got something you can start to measure risk against with that price around the VWAP from this earnings.
All right, so I like that. I mean, that was something that we've never talked about before. When you get something gapping up like that, where do we put that VWAP? So good little look there. Thanks for that education. We have a lot of people in the chat here, Brian. They want to know your opinion of this move on. Tesla just broke that 234. So I was looking at this on a daily chart, and we're all the way right here. We're trying to break a little bit lower now. We have the 200 period at $200. I don't know, man. Some of these topping tail wicks that we've seen on the daily chart for Tesla, maybe they told the story that we couldn't get above this 270 area, and now we're paying the price for holding on to this. But again, only a 6% move. Tesla looks like it's fading down. What are we looking at here? Is it time to buy any of this weakness? I kind of think I know the answer.
I'm looking at 229, 230 as an important level, Sean.
Okay.
On the left, first, you can see we're testing this rising 20-day moving average. So the fact is the 20-day moving average is rising. It's above a rising 50-day moving average. It's above a rising 200-day moving average. This move began, if you recall, with this shakeout down here at the middle of June. We saw that shakeout below this support. Then we recaptured the year-to-date anchor. So this is where that move began, right here. That's the starting point. That's our swing low. So when we put an anchor to that, we want to see a test of that, hopefully, and that would bring us down towards about 229, 230. I think it's highly likely that we do come down in there. I wouldn't necessarily buy it right there at that time, but that's when you start to switch to a 1-minute time frame, a 5-minute time frame as the day goes on tomorrow, and see how it responds in that area. But I'm thinking that is our most important level of interest right now, is the anchor off of that June low.
Yeah, we had last looked at some different names that we had talked about, you and I, and I think the most interesting name, and maybe I'm wrong on this one. But how nervous are we about NVIDIA? I mean, their report doesn't come for a minute, right? I mean, their report's now, I'm just looking it up, August 28th. So we're a month away from that report. And I just look at this daily chart here, Brian, and I'm thinking that we are very, very close to a tipping spot. We keep on bouncing off of this 118. So, I mean, if we lose this and the 50-period moving average, what are we thinking right now on NVIDIA? And how important do you think this name is to the health of the tech sector?
I think it's clearly important, and we've got to remember where this stock has come from, and the NASDAQ in particular. We've had huge runs here, and there's two ways that markets work these overbought conditions off. They either correct sideways through time or by pulling back in price. And I think that NVIDIA has enough institutional support that it's not just going to cave in. You're more likely to see a type of correction. So we could be somewhere like this right here for NVIDIA right now, testing the 50-day moving average, like SMCI did. And maybe we get a little pullback here, but we've had basically 3-4 months of nothing in SMCI. And meanwhile, like I said, NVIDIA is right on that 50-day moving average. So maybe we see some of that action, and then it just doesn't completely fall apart, Sean. I think it's too important that they're not going to let it fall apart. So a lot of people are still looking to get involved in this stock without chasing it, and there's likely to be some good support underneath it.
I was thinking about what you were talking about here, and you just put a poll up, and I'm going to show it right now. This is at Alpha Trends. I know it's often imitated, never duplicated. If there's any fake accounts, please report them for our friend here as well. And this was pretty important here. I said, show this up here, Ramin, if you can. It said the results of this poll, and it was, do we buying the dip here, buy strength after the dip, or what are we doing here? What is part of the process? So you said you liked this answer. I buy strength after dips. You and I have talked about that. And I think that when we're talking about Tesla and some of those plays with NVIDIA as well, let's wait to see if there is some strength coming back into some of these names. I really do like that poll. Thanks for putting that up. You also had something about Crowdstrike. And I really feel like Crowdstrike here on that little bit of a wrong button push, an upgrade. It's not a breach or anything like that. What are you thinking here about Crowdstrike? Because now this was day 2 or day 3 today on Crowdstrike, and it looks like, I don't know if we found a bottom there. Where did my chart go as we go back and forth? There it is right here. We talked to Michael Noss about this yesterday. He doesn't want to buy this dip, but I'm wondering, maybe if we can hold here. I like the 3-day rule. Seems like Crowdstrike might be holding. Any thoughts right here on CRWD?
I mean, for a bounce trade, Sean, and if you're skilled like you are, then I think,
come on.
To be able to look for a bounce, a lot of people get confused. They'll buy it at 268, let's say it goes to 275, 280, and then they forget to sell. They start thinking that there's still a good story here. But this huge volume and this big price move is not Joe, sitting at home on his couch, 6-pack.
Right.
It is big institutions dumping this as fast as they can. And, I think that it's likely to get a bounce, but I think you can forget about this one for a while for your long-term portfolio. Everything I noted, that I saw headline-wise was that the company has totally mismanaged this. Their software might not even be as necessary as some people think, and they're going to lose a lot of business. Their CEO handled it terribly. I think this is a complete lack of confidence in the company and their management. And if you get a bounce of it, use that strength to get out and then leave it alone, I'd say.
I wanted to, thanks for that look there. As I recently bought some at 265. I hope that it can hold out, but I'm looking for a little bit of a longer term play right there as well. So I found this on your Twitter, and I wanted to ask you about it because I'm always asking you about some new ideas, and it's going to be Groupon here. So you just mentioned here that energy is building in this name for continuation higher. You talk about a swing stop, and I just think that everybody should follow you. So go over there at Alpha Trends for some good ideas like this. This chart just looks confusing to me down here, but again, a smarter guy than me is you. Are you? Is you? I don't know proper English. I have no idea. But what are we looking at for Groupon? It does look like we could get back up over this $20 mark. Let's discuss Groupon.
Well, it could be a bargain here, Sean. I think the proper English is ain't you.
I like that.
Anyways, here's the weekly chart. And we've got the anchor from this high in 2021. So you can see that, and what I mean by energy is building, that we've been testing the anchor from that. And we finally have a higher low with all these longer term moving averages starting to rise. There's also a pretty good sized short position. When I say good sized short position, it's about 14. One source I see says 14%, another says 26%. So let's just split the difference and say there's about a 20% short float. So that's encouraging to see. Earnings are due on August 14th. So we've got some time there, and we're trading in this tight little range. I did end up buying a little bit of it here today, and thinking that, again, my worst case stop is really under here. So for me, the risk reward makes sense because we've got a stock that's above the rising 20, 50, 200-day moving average. We saw this big move up here that digested through time, and now it looks like it's getting ready to fire back up again.
I do like that look there for a little bit of Groupon. There are some questions in the chat. We'll get to those in a minute with the Dara. I just want to bring, if you come over to my screen real quick, Ramin, just want to go over a couple plays here. Looks like Google's trying to bounce right now, Brian, up to 184 and change, starting to get back up to the upside. Just a quick look on Tesla as that's trying to bounce again off 234. So, you know, what is different remains the same. You okay over there, Dara? As you get a nice little dip by into 234, and it looks like that holds Google right now. Brian, am I way off here? I said that I thought that Google was set up nicely into earnings. So what the plays that I look for here into this was a hit down to a support level that I really like, the 50-period moving average. Also a little bit of support that we go back into May and June there, bouncing off that level, heading into earnings. We're not down here when earnings are here. We've already bounced now 2 days in a row to get this tick back up. Did you think that there was any sort of a setup here on Google, or was this kind of a stay away for you? Doesn't look like it's breaking the top anytime soon.
Yeah, go back to your chart, Sean.
Sure.
And drop an anchor off that April gap. That was their last quarter's earnings report.
Yeah, right into here.
Kind of ties back in with what we were talking about with who was it that reported today?
Tesla?
Spot.
Yep,
So
Spotify, yeah.
you anchor it from that. And maybe it spends a few days below the anchor from that earnings report. And that's just simply digesting a big move. So when we see that and then the price gets back above it, well, the buyers are back in control. They held control from there. And even here in the aftermarket, that was the approximate level where the buyers showed up with, as you mentioned, a rising 20-day moving average. So I think you're right that it looks like it had a nice little correction from 192 down to 178. And if you can get this at a low risk point based on a shorter term time frame, you're likely to see a decent continuation higher in Google.
Okay, good little look there. We're going to go over to Dara.
Yeah, hi, Brian. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We had one question from Rivian Millionaire in the chat about Netflix. We know Netflix did have their earnings last week, and there were quite the wild moves on Friday, the day after earnings. With that, I guess we're wondering if you had any thoughts on this chart right now, NFLX.
The thing about Netflix to me is when you look at the longer term chart, the weekly time frame, you know, we just rallied from 180 to 700, let's just call it. And this is where we were previously rejected. So anyone who's buying a breakout up here is clearly late to the party. I think that it's normal to see some profit taking after that. But right now, you've got a very clear pattern of higher highs and higher lows for this stock. If this proves to be a higher low, then I think you want to buy strength emerging out of here for yet another test of this all-time high. But I just don't think it's quite ready here yet. Let it continue to bleed out a little bit, maybe down to the anchor as I had just drawn in right here off of the that gap lower, which is, I hit the wrong button, but right. So we're basically on it. So let it settle down in here a little bit, and it could be a good one to buy on strength. If not, and it fails here, given the magnitude of the run from, what did I say, 180 or so, it could be ready for a steeper pullback.
Brian, one last question here before we have to let you go. I just dropped an anchor on CCL. So Carnival Cruise, I think you have an opinion on this. I put it down here from, I guess, the October lows maybe we should be going to the most recent lows right now. This gives us all the way back to 1572. That's a little ways away now. I'm not going to use that as any support right here, but it looks like we could be breaking out on CCL. It's had a great run. We bounced off the 200. We bounced off the 50. If we take down this $20, do we like this name? I mean, another interest here, 9% short. That's pretty interesting. Over close to 4 days to cover, and earnings are well in the past. Now, June 25th, so we don't have to worry about that. That's that yellow line right here. What are you thinking? Does Carnival look like a possible breakout candidate?
Yeah, so here's the weekly chart on my screen, and there's the anchor from the all-time high, and you can see how that had offered supply several times, and now we're back above that for the first time in years. So we have these higher lows, I think you were alluding to. About a week and a half, a couple weeks ago, we got back above the year-to-date anchor, that's that blue line, and we have been holding the anchor off of this low, I think is what you were just talking to, mid-June. I believe I mentioned it over here maybe, because that's when I typically get interested in them. I've had some call options in this stock because the volatility is just a little bit too much for me to hold, but it's clearly, to me, it looks like it's on its way. And I'm going to try to hold the balance. I've sold some of these calls. I'm going to try to hold the balance of them because I sold some actually today because it's approaching, the same story. We've got a breakout here, but it just ran from 15 to 19. Same story as that TGTX. If you recall last week, I said I've sold my final piece because of the breakout. I sell breakouts if they're extended getting there. And sure enough, it's dropped from 22 down to 20. So it's dropped 10%. And I think that you've got to always be aware of those breakouts and buying them if they've already had a move prior to the breakout. They're generally traps.
Ryan, you never asked me to do this, but I do it every single time because I think it's a very, very important thing that most people need to be reading this book, Maximum Trading Gains Using Anchored View Up. It's Brian Shannon. And Tesla's bouncing back right now. Thank you so much for joining us. Over 2,800 still watching. I have a Little League game that I got to get to here tonight, so I got to fly. Normally, I'd love to go overtime with you. Maybe next week, there'll be lots of earnings coming through again. So thank you so much, Brian. I want to make sure everyone goes and follows you at Alpha Trends. Anything else you're working on right now quickly?
No, not really. I mean, I'm kind of keeping it close to the vest here. The market's a little volatile, so I've still got a third of my Amgen position, but I'm really keeping it light right here, Sean.
Great, I love that, and especially in the summertime, we need less stress, right? Not more. Let's keep it light, and we'll talk next week. Thank you so much, Brian. Have a great rest of your week. Say hi to the family for us, and we'll check you next time. Thank you, Mr. Brian Shannon.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Okay, bye, everyone.
All right. I mean, what a great guest there. We went over some Tesla, some Google, the CCL, the Crowdstrike, the Netflix.
A little bit of everything.
Kept on going, a little bit of Groupon there, a new name for us. CCL even a relatively new name for us there as well. So thank you so much for that. Let's quickly go. I got to honestly fly.
So do I.
Oh yeah, so do you. That's right. You have a dinner date.
Yes, little family dinner.
Okay, dinner date. Dating. I didn't mean date. Okay.
Dinner.
All right. So right now, I was going to say maybe it's a little early to introduce me to your family. We talked about that
literally what he said.
A little bit already. But okay. So Tesla, what a ride here in the after hours as we get down there to 234, bounce back up to 244, and then fade out one more time. Google right here, still holding. What a boring time that's been for Google. Although, if you're able to pick up some 175s, you're feeling pretty good now, up about $10 in the money. Just quickly, Visa downside, still holding a bid, though, in and around 259, 260. That's going to be a good one. Let's check out our friend Enphase. Right now, again, wow, almost like the market's open, just back and forth, can't figure it out. Right now for Enphase, up to 109, giving us a little bit more love there. Was there any other names that we wanted to talk about here today? Well, it doesn't matter because we've got roll call right now. All right, again, thank you so much for everybody watching us. I mean, this was a good show, but they're going to get a lot better because Neil's coming through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll be here with Neil as we get some more big names throughout the week. So thank you so much for joining us. You're not going to find another place that's going to show you live level twos, go over all this and give you recent, up-to-date quotes for your earnings plays. Join us here every single day at Trader TV Live. And with that said, we can't do it without you. So let's go to the screen right now. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls, man. I mean, the best moderator around. We put on a late show. The guy stays late. Traders stay late. Moderators stay late. Thank you so much for that one. What's up? Ricky Peters asked us here. M Triple Investing. Hey, you want to shout out? Get in the chat right now. Put up a wave. Rojon, Ricky Peters, William Knight, Smooth One is here. Alex Diaz is in the building. Scott Tomlinson, what's up? Tycoon, I like that one. Huge is in here as well. Rivian Millionaire, my good friend Neil Roberts. Rohit is here right now. The Piper is here. What's up, Piper? Henrik, Sebastian, Alex Diaz. Muay Casado is here. Bristol here. Bristol Maz. Cell's here. What is this name? Sister from another mother?
Another world?
Another world. Okay, yeah, sister from another mother world. Crapstock is here. Hopefully you don't have too many of those in your portfolio. Seth Atef is here. Short Film Tony is here as well. Chef Joe, my guy. What's up, Chef? We having steaks yet or what? Cheers to everybody as well. Nate, Travel Buddy, Steve Martinez, Seth, and Alex Diaz. Thank you so much. That concludes. All right, Adara. Wow, I'm exhausted, man. We put in a lot of work there today. We made a decent little chunk of change there in the afternoon by shorting the Qs, shorting Tesla, shorting Uber. We got our bear claws out right there in the afternoon. We'll see if that comes through again tonight. Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you.
And I will see you tomorrow, and I will see hopefully all of you tomorrow as well. When Obi and I take the desk, that should be a lot of fun. You and Sharif in the midday still doing gaps, something like that?
We're still gapping. Gaps are still, gaps be gapping.
Gaps be gapping. I like that one. Thank you so much. This is Adara LePage. I'm Sean Katina. That's Ramin. And we will check you tomorrow. Ciao, everybody. See ya.